Hey everyone, what is going on? Welcome to the Dragon's Lair. You've got Sam and Chris as always, and please welcome to the channel our friend Adventure 50.
Hi,
Lance,
everybody.
welcome. How are you,
Thank you,
buddy?
guys. I'm doing great. Absolutely. How
Good,
about yourselves?
good, good. Uh, Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you. So, I know I was on with you Sunday night.
Sunday night. Yep.
Boy,
Yep.
these days, man, I can't even get my head around what day it is anymore. That's pretty terrible, right?
I'm right
Um,
there with you. I can't believe tomorrow's already Thursday. This week's flying.
yeah, yeah. So, uh, I know we kind of spur the moment while we were alive. Actually, we were like, "Hey, let's do Wednesday too." So here you are, and pretty cool. So let's say hello to a few folks in here, and then we'll get down to some chit chat and business here. So we've got Marco in the house. What's up, Marco? Appreciate you coming on. The Jake, hello, sir. Mo Patty Trish, or as Clayton tells me to call you, Mama Mo. None for now. Zach, good to see you, man. Jim Miller is here. How are you? Thank you for coming in. And let's see here. Daddy Wyvern, that's my pops. What's up, Dad? Good to see you. Silver Trails, thank you for joining, as always, my friend. Robert Jones, welcome. Thank you for coming in. And look, the mod extraordinaire, Ramses. Thank you, my friend, for coming in and for all you do here, my friend. I appreciate you. So, if you are not subscribed, which I'm pretty sure everybody is here, but if you're not subscribed to the Wyvern Kodiak channel or the Adventure 50 channel, do me a favor and go smash that like button. And then on top of that is subscribe to our channels. We can definitely appreciate that the support and all. So we'll let a few more stragglers come in here, but so Lance, I wanted to kind of circle back to something. So you had a knife come out with waxed wing,
Yep.
and I did not know until our live on Sunday. And here, let me blow that up real quick here, so that you can show that off for a second, buddy.
Man, that's
Very
beautiful.
cool. That came out really, really nice, man. Very, very nice.
So far, the feedback's been really good. I know Robert Jones, who's in chat right now, he did a couple of videos on it already, which was nice. I appreciated
Awesome.
that. Yep.
Nice. So you said that that thing sold out in 2 minutes?
You got to say, these are handmade. So when we're doing batches, we're only doing batches of like 10 to 15 because they're handmade.
Yeah.
So, and so it wasn't a huge batch that came out. Plus, let's face it, I'm not Neves. I'm not, Metal Complex. So we wanted to kind of keep it small to start and see how it went. But it went so much better than I could possibly imagine. I'll tell you how well it went. I clicked on, as soon as it went live, I clicked on and I had the option of adding it to the cart. I refreshed, they were gone.
Wow.
That's how quick they went.
You
That's
could have
awesome,
sold
man.
two. You could have sold two more for sure, because Sam and I both tried to log in and they were gone.
There's going to be, I was with Trevor at the Lehigh Valley Knife Show. He's the founder and the brains behind Waxwing. And we talked about it. Because it went so well, there's going to be another drop. He's got some other stuff that he has to do first, but there's going to be another drop not too far in the distant future. And we'll let everybody
Good.
know. I got to tell you, I didn't even, until I actually had the knife in hand, I never thought this was going to be a reality. I met Trevor going back to the Lehigh Valley Knife Show 3 shows ago. And I interviewed him because I just found out about him because Neves had featured the Waxwing knives. And I was talking to Trevor and I was like, wow, I was like, I didn't even know he was going to be there. I bumped into him. I was like, wow, okay. And I had to buy because I wanted to try these knives out. And I bought my first one, which is here somewhere. You got to trust me, it's here somewhere. But I bought my first Waxwing. and I really loved it. So the next show I went to, I was hanging out with Trevor again, and we had been communicating back and forth. I said, "Hey, what do you think about a collaboration?" And because I had done videos on his stuff and I had interviewed him and whatnot, he was like, "All right, let's think about that." He goes, right now, and at this point, he was just starting to collaborate with Neves. He goes, "I got something going on with Neves," and I said, "Do you happen to have that knife here?" And he's like, "No," but he opened up his computer and he had showed me what was coming out. So I kind of saw that before anybody else. Um,
Very
then
cool.
we kept in contact and we just kept talking. I reached out to him. I said, "You ready for the collaboration?" Because he had also come out with a collaboration with Nomad EDC on the Maverick,
Mm-hmm.
which came out phenomenal as well. And I said, "Are you ready?" He said, "Yeah." And we were just kicking ideas back and forth, like, "All right, what are we going to do?" I already knew I loved his handles and handle shape. So I said, I want to go with that because he's got like 7 models, but right now there's only 6 on the website. Um, 4 of them use the same handle. It's variations of the blade and the handle materials. So I said, all right. I was like, well, let's talk about blades that haven't been done yet. And we were kicking it back and forth. And I said, I was like, I think a Bowie style, clip point would look really good. And he had done a one-off at one point of a Bowie. And he goes, let me show you what I did before. And we kind of played around with that, adjusted it a little bit. And then we were like, all right, we came out with the knife. We knew what materials we used. We go with the Nitro V, and like we knew the size of it and all that good stuff. Now we needed a name, and that was the hard part. Because, well, I mean, anybody who's designed knives, done knives, there are only so many names out there, and everything's been used. It seems like.
Oh yes.
But the big thing about him is all his knives have something to do with nature. And that's because before creating knives, he worked in conservationism, um, working in forests and stuff like that. So he's kind of kept to that theme. And I was like, well, what can we use? And I was like, I was kicking stuff around. My wife said, what about, my wife is big into like crystals and collecting all that kind of stuff. And she's like, what about naming it after a stone? I was like, oh, that's not a bad idea. And I was thinking to myself, well, that's great too, because stones sharpen knives. I was like, seems to fit. So it was across what kind of stones. My wife actually said to me, she goes, have you thought about an agate? And I was like, not really. She goes, well, they come in some great colors and you can come up with some stuff. So I started looking up what agates looked like and whatnot. And I sent it off to Trevor. I was like, what about an agate? And he didn't really know much about an agate. And I said, he's like, well, what kind, what can we do with it? And I said, well, these are all the different stone colors that agates come in. And I sent it to him. And he quickly focused in on the black agate, which black agate, it's black with white highlights going through it. And that's when we came up with, okay, that's great. What are we going to do handle wise? So now we're going through like all the different blade material, the different blade materials that were available. And we couldn't find one that we liked. And finally, I was like, we got to do something with that black and white theme. And Trevor was like, what if I just layer G10? Base layer of black, white, black over it. He goes, and then we'll mill it back so that way the white comes out. And that's
Yeah.
what we did. So if you
Nice.
look at it from top, you can see the layers on it. And it all seemed to click, and it came together. Once we had that, it all came together really quick because he was like, all right, he goes, let me come up with a prototype. And because he does everything in house, it's not a matter of, okay, I got to send it off, send plans, literally he came up with the first one in like 2 weeks after that. So like the whole process only took like 4 months or so. It wasn't like a long
Yeah,
thing.
those are much quicker processes for sure, especially
Yeah,
small
because
batch like that, and
it's all in
having
house.
control from A to Z helps. So,
Yep, he does all
um,
the heat treating. So everything is done in house. The only thing he does is he has the blades water cut first, and he
yeah,
brings them in. He sends that, and he has somebody water cut them first. But
yeah,
everything else is done
that
by
that
hand.
saves on a lot of time for sure.
Yep.
Before we get crazy behind on the chat, which I probably already
Mhm.
am, let me clean house a little here and catch up. So, TW Knives is in here. How are you? Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you. Kanji Blades, good to see you. Wicked Dreams, good to see you. Gabe Harlan. Let's see here. I saw some other folks coming in here. Up, Faithful EDC. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Great live earlier, Faithful.
Yeah, awesome, man. Good stuff. Mick Ranger, thank you for coming in and hanging out. Good to see you, my friend. Replicant EDC, what's up? Good to see you. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us tonight. Oh, EDC Noob is back. He was new last week, so appreciate you coming in, and you've earned your wrench this week, so there you go. And then let's see here. We have Neil McKenzie. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us. Almost caught up here.
I think we missed help with gadgets.
I was just getting to him. Help with gadgets is in here. What's up, my friend? Okay, cool. We're caught up for now.
I did see, I saw Patty, and I know you said hi to her earlier, but
Yeah.
I wonder if she's going to change her name from Mo Patty to Al Patty with a move.
Did I miss something, man?
Because she's Missouri Patty, but she won't be Missouri Patty much longer.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, with the yeah, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
She could be Al Patty.
That's pretty funny. Nasso, what is up? Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. Know you, so you get a wrench as well. So yeah, so I'm glad you had a lot of success on your first drop, Lance.
I was relieved.
I know that stuff is kind of like it's stressful for a little bit, right? And it's that fear of the unknown thing. I knew you'd kill it. I mean, you've got too much of a loyal base, and you weren't coming out with something that you were asking astronomical money for. So I thought it was going to be an easy sell for you. For our stuff right now, a couple updates from us. Well, first is Best Tech sent me a message the other night and said that we should hear something this week on the completion of our second round of blades. So those should be shipped anytime. We should get those pretty quick. They were fast. So that's pretty cool. Second thing is that as this is happening, I have reached out to Best Tech and I have asked them to nail down the complete cost of the project so that I can sit down with Chris and we can really nail down pricing and stuff like that so that we know how we're going to approach our pre-orders and things like that. It's super important that we know these numbers up front. Obviously, we need to know where our mark is so that we're not losing money. And at the same time, Chris and I have agreed that we're not looking to try and make some insane amount of money per knife here where we're trying to make a killing. Neither one of us know that we're going to get rich on this or anything. So that's not happening. We just want to make sure that we're offering it at the most fair price that we can. So we will have more as soon as we can on that, but I just definitely wanted to update you all on that. Mo Patty had a question for you, Chris. You want to repeat the Mo Patty question?
Oh, I just sent it in chat. So, yeah, I was just asking if you're going to be changing your name from Mo Patty to Al Patty with your impending move.
I think that's fantastic, Al Patty. Oh man, that's very, very funny. It's Dog One is in here. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Lion Not Sheep, the Bumble Shay. Miss anyone? I think we've got everybody. I think we're caught up again. If you haven't, do me a favor, smash that like button. And if you aren't subbed to the channels, make sure that you are subscribed to Wyvern Kodiak. And make sure that you are subscribed to Adventure 50. And do me a favor as well. If you want to head over to wyvernkodiak.com, sign up for the newsletter there. That's going to keep you all informed on the knife drops and stuff like that. We also have some merch on the website as well. So we've got shirts in black and in gray. So the shirt that Chris is wearing is black. My shirt is gray. And then we have 8-inch tanks as well. So you've got our logo on one side, and then it's got this really nice microfiber, which is the kind of stuff that you clean like your glasses with. So it's super silky soft. You can clean a polished blade or whatever, and you won't have to worry about scratching it up or anything like that. So they're really good stuff. So if
Definitely,
you're interested, go over there, check it out.
yeah, definitely good for glasses and gear. So, Adventure 50,
Carry
that's
them all the
really,
time.
yeah, that's so cool that you guys and your wife was a part of the really the design concept, right? And
Yeah.
how you're going to go. And man, when you explained it, I'm like, yeah, you guys absolutely nailed that. I think that the knife is beautiful. I'm looking forward to more drops.
Yeah, and that was kind of cool too. The fact that um, Trevor works with his girlfriend in his company. So like we were all together, like I said, on Saturday. We got a nice group picture of the four of us together, and it was kind of cool. Like like it felt like I didn't feel like obviously because he's a small company. I'm not dealing with a corporation. Dealing with an individual in Pennsylvania. That I think that makes it a little special too. You know,
Yeah.
I also joke that hey, I'm in good company. He's collaborated with Neves and with Nomad EDC, and now me. So you
Oh
know,
yeah, for sure, for sure. Because Jared doesn't just collaborate with anybody. I mean, he is a
no,
picky individual. So, for sure, it's really you definitely picked a good one. So there's no question. Silver Trails, your question, I should do a giveaway on a Hank sometime. So I've actually done a couple of them. Around in different things, but yeah, we can come up with something like that for sure, and we will definitely we'll definitely come up with that. Chris and I are really driving towards trying to get to 1,000 subs right now, and when we do, we're going to have a pretty good giveaway for the 1,000 sub giveaway. I've already got a couple of knives picked out. I'll probably give away a t-shirt and a Hank as well with that, and sticker packs and lanyard packs and all kinds of good stuff. So it'll be a pretty sweet giveaway, and we'll make sure that we do that. And if I can get some more Hanks together, maybe we'll do a couple other giveaways and stuff like that as well. So no question about that. But appreciate you, and that is a good idea. So
Putting up a wall rock.
yeah, no, that's no chance in hell.
so so how about this? When you guys get to 1,000, you can also give away a knife that I'll send somebody.
Awesome. Thank
Oh,
you, sir.
awesome! There you go.
I don't know what it'll
Thank
be
you.
yet, but yeah, absolutely. They've done that like BEDC's done that for my channel, so why not? We all help each other out.
For sure.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Kelly's Mishmash. What is up? We have saw somebody else come in here. I feel like I missed somebody, and if
Uh,
I did, I do apologize. I am trying my best to stay on top of it tonight because I know
uh,
that sometimes, some weeks I slack. So if I'm
and
slacking, don't beat me up.
both Anna and none for now.
Nope, I know who I missed. Mama Loot in the house. What is
Oh,
up?
nice.
Mama
How are
Lou.
you? Thank you, old school rocker, for coming in and hanging out with us. Appreciate you. You are always wonderful for supporting the channel. So thank you so much for coming in. So yeah, the the news for right now is that we are inching closer to those pre-order dates. We are inching closer to finally getting the finish line there. And Chris and I are very, very close to selecting who will be the builder, the OEM builder for OEM model number 2 through us. So it's we're negotiating between two companies right now to, and it's not so much that we're looking for the best price. It's that one company isn't really thinking things through properly, and I think they've misunderstood the project. And before I dismiss them, I want to make sure that we are clear on what we're asking and what they're offering so that we don't make a mistake and miss out on an opportunity and they don't lose the job over a misunderstanding. It's pretty difficult when you're working through emails overseas, strange hours. It is never an easy task to operate that way. So
Yeah, you and
sometimes it can
Trevor
be
speak.
challenging.
Yeah, you and Trevor speak the same language, right? That probably helped out with communication.
Yeah, Trevor speaks perfect English. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Now
Uh,
I was gonna say, what's funny about that? A lot of companies that I collaborate with who are sending me knives, they're Chinese companies, and I'll wake up in the morning and have a question from them. I'll send it, I'll message them back, but of course they're not seeing it until the next day, basically. So
yeah,
that lag in communication because of the time differences is a
Yeah.
real thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the translation.
Boosis EDC. How are
What
you,
is
Mike?
there?
Thank you for coming in and hanging out. It was an absolute pleasure to meet you on Saturday. By the way. I'm sorry, I'm tongue tied apparently. So appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us tonight. It's always always a pleasure, my friend.
He brought some beautiful knives for us to look at. So for those that don't know, we had a get together Saturday in Southern Indiana, and a lot of people brought some knives for everybody to check out and share. And those are some beautiful knives.
Yeah, that room was stacked with some serious gear. I mean, you and I brought the cat's meow from our collections for the most part, and I mean, Trish brought killer stuff. Chris brought killer stuff. Mike brought killer stuff. I mean, it was just one table after the next. And I know Chris, the unprofessional dad, he had posted a video on it and said something like $100,000, and I was like, yeah, that is a super low number. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
I think.
Chris and I
Yeah,
brought a lot of money's worth of blades.
well, I mean, and that's when I was holding the small collection that Trish brought, it was the same way. I said 12,000, and then I started looking and counting. I was like, no, I'm probably closer to 22 to 25,000 just in what she brought. But again, Faithful EDC and None for Now and Don Don. I mean, everybody was bringing
Yeah.
out some
Yeah,
amazing and
there was
beautiful
some
knives.
serious heat in there for sure. For sure. Gunmetal James, what's up, my friend? Thanks for coming in. I apologize if I missed you earlier, my brother. So I want to stop for a second while we have like 34 people in here.
Mm.
And this isn't a plug for shirts or anything like that for our website, but this weekend I am placing another order for more shirts for our website. And there have been an awful lot of requests for some sizes that I don't currently have available on my site, and uh, also for ones that might be sold out. Now, the ones all the way up to 3XL, I'm going to refill those, no problem. So you don't have to worry about that. If you have a different size and we haven't spoken yet, and you want a shirt, so if you want something that's bigger than 3XL, if you need a tall size, if you need something that is not the standard, do me a favor and give me a DM on Instagram or send me an email, wyvernkodiak@gmail.com. Okay, do me a favor and reach out to me by Friday night. Okay, if you reach out to me, I'll make sure it's part of the order so that we can get something for you, because I don't want to just buy these things and then have them sit there. But if somebody really wants one, I'm happy to do it. I want to make sure we're taking care of the community and giving them the stuff that they want, but I don't want to just order a shirt that nobody's ever going to buy. So reach out to me and I'll make sure that it's part of the order, and we'll do a one-off custom order for everybody. So appreciate you all. For those that are interested, by the way, it's really, really cool that we've been getting so many requests and asks for it. So that's awesome, and we thank you.
What about small sizes, Sam? Is that an issue?
We've got all the way down to size small. So if you need like an extra small, I guess I could arrange that as well.
Yeah,
I think they do offer those, but
Yeah.
they go up to size 6XL.
I want to try the small. I'm gonna wear something that shows my belly button.
Chris, if you wore a size small, you'd look like 10 pounds of bologna in a 5-pound bag. Trust me, I'm no different. So I'm just telling you, if I wore a size medium, that would be the case too. So I'm just saying.
It would be fun.
I do have something cool to show everybody, and I don't know if everybody's interested, but I got a couple of knives from a company that I am not familiar with. It's a newer company, and they reached out to me a few weeks ago, and they said, "Hey, would you be interested in reviewing a couple of knives of ours?" And I looked on their website, and they're a budget brand. They don't have anything crazy expensive. And I said, "Sure, I'll review a budget knife. I like budget bangers as much as the next person, right?" So the name of the company is called 7plus. And they sent me a couple of knives, and I figured I'd show it to you guys, see what your thoughts are on it, because they don't look terrible. And, I mean, I haven't dug into them. I haven't really done any research on them yet. So you're seeing them. And this is only the second time I've opened the package. So check it out. Let me know what you think. I'm going to put a screen up big so everybody can see them. So this right here is one of them. It's a plunge lock, button lock, rear flipper. It's all black, and it is in, what is the blade on this? 9CR18 MOV. So here's the blade deployed. Okay. Right off the bat, I can tell you I'm not overwhelmingly thrilled with branding the way they do it, but it is a nice drop point, spear point style blade here. It's got a cool swedge on it. Jimping on it feels nice, actually. This is actually pretty good jimping on here. Bent pocket clip, which is deep carry, but it's not all the way back, so it's not going to sit in your pocket deep carry. Nice milling on it, aluminum scales, so pretty cool. And the action on this thing is actually pretty decent. There's no lock stick whatsoever on this thing, so pretty nice. I'm call me impressed, but for an inexpensive knife, seems like it's pretty decent. So we'll do a review on this one in the coming days, but I don't know if anybody is familiar with this brand. I had never heard of them before, but I'm always down for checking out something new. And then the next one that I've got here is a fixed blade. I actually happen to really like this one. So it is micarta scales on this thing, D2 on the blade steel. Again, unfortunately, they seem to really like to brand on the blade, which kind of drives me crazy, and that'll be one of the things that I'll probably knock on them when it comes to the review. I'm probably going to be honest about that, but it's got jimping here and towards the tip here, which at first I was wondering what's with the blade hole on a fixed blade like this, but what I figured out is for getting like a utility cut finger position, getting your finger out like this is a great grip place right there for it. So not bad at all. The hole in the back here, so this doubles as a lanyard hole as well as a pin. So pretty nice, textured on the back. So I think it's a nice looking knife. I don't know what you all think, but would love for you to tell me. And then it comes with a sheath. It has one of these locking mechanism things here, so pretty cool. The one thing I'll say on this, it locks in nice, but I can hear a little rattle and tap in here. Now maybe there, I'll play with the screws and see whether or not it tightening it up fixes that or not. But there is a little bit of rattle, but it's not going anywhere. You know, it's locked in. So, well, what do you guys think on that? I'd be interested in a what is it called? 7 Plus is the name of the company. Right there, 7 Plus, SE, the number 7, EN, the word plus. So check them out, and you'll check out some reviews that'll be coming in the coming days. But you know, for the most part, for the price point, they look like they're probably pretty promising, to be honest.
I I never heard of them before. The jimping looks cool on the fixed blade. The billboarding turns me off completely. I don't know that I'd even buy one.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled with the billboarding either. And you know, again, you and I have both knocked knives before for billboarding on the blades. I think a maker's mark or something in a less conspicuous place on the blade is more reasonable. You and I have worked really hard in how we designed our own blades to make sure that we don't billboard on them. As a matter of fact, where we put our marks for the steel is actually inside the finger choil underneath. So I'll blow this up real quick here. If anybody can see that, there you go. So Vanex is tucked in the finger choil underneath the knife so that you can't see it and it doesn't stand out across the blade. I don't know. It's just
So I have a question for you guys. Since
yeah,
you
buddy.
both don't like billboarding,
Mhm.
I'm one of those people. I have no problem with billboarding. I look at it this way: we're Americans. We billboard and brand everything. Hell, I'm wearing a Kiss shirt right now. You pick up any of my guitars, the logos are giant on the headstock. Why is it when it comes to knives we don't like billboarding? And I'm also, let me add this: I don't believe that people don't like billboarding. I believe there are a bunch of YouTubers who say we shouldn't like it, so we've decided that we don't like it. But the reality is, as Americans, we billboard everything.
Very true. In my opinion, I like the cleanness of the aesthetic. I really like to see the metal. What am I holding in my hand now? So just being able to see the belt satin, and seeing it move. Every knife that I have is, even if it's a stone wash, I just love the look of the knife itself. And I don't mind a maker's mark. I like it if it's like on the pivot. I think that looks cool. For whatever reason, I've never liked it on the blade. I only still own one knife that's got excessive billboarding, and it's partially there just so I can point out how much I hate the billboarding.
Gotcha. Well, my thing is like this. Like, for instance, like this is a Flissa knife, right?
Yep.
Fliss is a budget company,
Mm-hmm.
but they've got nothing on the blade, but they throw their logo on the clip. I hate that more than anything because when I have this in my pocket and just the clip is sticking out, I'd rather have it on the blade so no one can see it when it's in my pocket.
That's fair.
You
You
know?
know, I do like the steel being on the blade.
Mm-hmm.
I like to know what I'm sharpening.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't mind the blade steel, but I'm kind of the same as Chris is in this situation. I like a clean blade. If you look at my collection, Lance, almost every one of them is a very sterile blade. You know, Ray Laconico is probably my favorite designer, and if you look at almost every one of his knives, they are absolutely barren on the blade. The only place that you see it is on the spine right here. He'll put R Laconico on the spine, but it's not something, I mean, you kind of almost have to look for it. It's inconspicuous in its own right. So I don't,
like this ProTech, right? It's clean. The only place you actually see their name is on the blade. There's nothing else on this knife. But it's small. And I'm okay with that, you know.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I haven't put everything back from when we were.
while you're looking, Chris, Wicked Dreams Designs asked the question: is there a 7 Plus Pro model with tie and a frame lock? So I am trying to see if there is one. I don't recall seeing a model that was. There's a titanium Tonto. I don't remember seeing anything like that, but I could be wrong. I didn't go crazy and look everything over. I just wanted to kind of get what they were sending me for the time being to check out. But they do have a couple. I mean, the most expensive model that they have appears to be under $60. So for what it's worth, if they do have something like that, I don't imagine that it's going to be big. And I'm not quite sure what the blade steel is going to be on it either. So, you know, check it out. We can look. I will learn more in the coming days as I do more research on them. And I also have a message out to them as well, asking them for some details and some information on the company, as well as the designers, inspiration, intent, all that kind of stuff. And try to do our homework before we start design or before we start reviewing a design so that I can speak to it as best as I possibly can without just kind of telling you this is a spear point, this is a flipper. Like, you know, you can see that for yourself. It's the story behind the knife that sometimes means something more. So I try to do as much as I can on that.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
real quick nug for now. Yes, the scales did arrive. Thank you.
nice. You know, this Microtech, right? Like, if they changed the font just a little bit, they probably could have got their customer service telephone number and email address on there. You know, their website. It's like they put so much stuff on it, and it had the opportunity to be a beautiful blade. But I just that's the only one that I have that's got stuff all over it. I usually pick them up and I set them back down, and like you talked about, ProTech, I don't mind.
You more to not brand on their blade. You know that?
Say that again, Sam.
If you order Microtech, they will actually charge you more to have a barren blade. It's like, for real? Sister Stables didn't get the notification. Well, you're here now. You didn't miss anything too crazy. So thanks for coming in, Kathy. Appreciate
Absolutely.
I will say one more thing about the billboarding, though. This is a relatively new phenomenon. Think about it. Think about your legacy companies, the Kershaws of the world, the CRKTs of the world, the Bucks of the world, the Case of the world. Their branding is right across every blade.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
You know, and I think maybe
Illuminati Ninja.
I was just
What's
saying
up,
maybe
Blue?
I was just saying maybe that's where I come from with it too, because I've been collecting knives since the '80s when those were the only companies that were around, really. So maybe I just got used to the branding. I don't know. It's tricky for me.
And you're not wrong, Lance. And I think in the last couple of years, I've went from how can I fill my knife collection with as much stuff as I possibly can and buying everything under the sun. And if it's a knife, I want it. And then instead, it's turned into more of I know what I want, what I like, what my interests are, and so I've began to narrow the scope a lot more. And I've gotten rid of a whole lot of knives, and I've traded or I've sold, or at one point there was a recent fundraiser, and there was a couple knives that I gave away during during the fundraiser because it was an opportunity to help somebody. So it's a personal preference thing. Yes, I do understand, and I mean, functionally there's nothing wrong with it, right? Branding doesn't affect the knife in a negative manner. It's going to cut, slice, and dice the same way. It's just when you're looking at it from a functional art perspective, it doesn't fill my bucket. You know what I mean?
Understood. And that's why there's so many millions of knives to choose from,
100%, man. 100%.
Like I know some people are not butterfly and spider people, but I'm a butterfly spider guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mike said the same thing, right? Spyderco, Microtech. Yeah, the Spyderco and the butterfly, yeah, they're all right. They're not massive, though. I do wish that in a lot of cases they put them in better positions. Right. I think what drives me crazy is when you look at a knife, and I'll give you a for instance here. Let me see if I can find something. Well, you know what? I'll just use the
there's the Manix 2. You got that big spider sitting right there in front of the thumb hole.
Yeah.
And then of course on the Benchmade. Let's see if you see it on this one. This one's a little tougher because this is hold on, let's go to a different one with a black blade. Yeah, you've got the butterfly sitting right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's premium real estate for branding.
Look, for me to not complain about it, it really needs to be something special. And I'll give you a for instance. Okay, and it's a perfect one. So this knife right here is the best Thai pan. I can't stand that they branded it there, but I overlooked it, and this was still my knife of the year from 2025.
Nice.
But I do wish that this was here. Put it up here where it's tucked away off of the grind line. That's just my preference. I mean, it doesn't change the functionality of the knife. It just aesthetically pleases me. And
and I get that too. Like my favorite knife is this one here. This is the Ferro Monster, the Aurora Rays, and this is ultra clean. I mean, there's no the only thing is it's not even a logo, but there's kind of a design in the pivot. They don't even have their name on the knife.
Yeah.
But this is my favorite non heirloom knife that I have.
But I think that you bring a good point in that marketing once was we want everybody to know who our knife was. And I think we're in a place today where it's like we want everybody just to buy a whole bunch of knives and forget what it was, so they'll go buy another one. There's very few companies that are branding in a way, and you might be right. It might just be because YouTubers said stop doing that because we don't like it.
That's entirely possible, and that's a very good point. But I think for me and Chris, you're the other half here, so you decide on your own perspective on this. But for me, right, this is. Let's see if I can get this to focus here.
Yep.
So our maker's mark is on the pivot cap right there. Okay, it's a simple WK. For me, I would love to be identified by that, right? As soon as you see that WK, it's like you know who that knife belongs to. You know the brand. It's same thing, the butterfly is synonymous with Benchmade. As soon as you see it, you know what knife it is. Spyderco, same thing, right? You have these maker's marks that are instantaneously identifiable to a collector. I would love to get to the point where our maker's mark is identifiable to a person instantaneously, and they're like, yeah, I know whose knife that is.
Yeah, and there have been companies who've hit it out of the park with just having their initials on the pivot. Kubi with the KB right on there, There are a bunch of them who have done it that way. So I see both sides of it. Like, I don't think anything's wrong either way. You know, I'm just one of those people, like, the billboarding just doesn't really, like I said, stop me from buying a knife. If I like the design, I like the design, you know.
Sure.
Now,
Yeah.
one of the things, if you actually watch my TCal video from when this knife came out, the KS, which was the Kickstarter knife that I was the first backer on, I actually
Right.
knocked it. I actually knocked it because you could barely even see it says TCal, where on their CW folder and all their other knives, the TCal is very prominent, you know. And I was like, one of the things about, like, there's kind of, and maybe this might be too strong a word, but there's kind of a prestige to having a TCal,
Mhm.
and I think you want to know it's a TCal.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing like my industry. Wolf ranges. Wolf ranges are known for their red knobs. Now, you can get them without red knobs, but like 90% of the people get them with red knobs because they want you to walk in their kitchen and go, oh, they've got a wolf,
Yeah.
type of thing.
Ro-
So it's like,
Rolex. Yeah.
oh yeah,
Rolex doesn't hide themselves either, do they?
nope. Well,
Nope. They
the
got that
watch.
crown.
I'm a watch collector, so beside collecting knives, everybody knows I'm a watch collector. And it's really funny. In the knife world, we hate clone knives. In the watch world, it's encouraged. They're not clones, they're homages. You know, Tudor, they're an homage of Rolex. Still high end. Actually, it's the same company, but that's besides the point. Um, you know, it's really weird the way the knife world works differently than some of the other, worlds. Like I said, we'll sit there and we'll hate a clone, which I think, by the way, a clone is different than counterfeit. And I don't think everybody makes that
Agree.
differentiates. You
I
know,
agree.
you can buy a Benchmade bug out off of Temu, and it's not a real bench. It's a pure, whatchamacallit, rip off counterfeit. Then you can find another knife that's a design that's similar to a bug out. It's a clone, but it's not a counterfeit. It's different. It's their take on this similar design. Let's face it, in
Yeah.
knife world, there's only so many designs out there, and even Benchmade didn't invent the drop point blade and the ultralight handle.
Yeah.
You know,
Very true.
Yeah, no, it is true for sure. I mean, you see those all the time with
Mhm.
with knives that look like other knives now. I mean, there's just no way. So, and I
The-
think a lot of how Chris and I take an approach is maybe we're not going to invent a new blade shape on here, but we're going to do something different with it to bring out something
what
interesting, unique,
what it
different.
sounds like from talking to you, what it sounds like you're going to do is just come out with a better quality knife.
Well, we'd always like to come out with a better quality knife as well, for
Mhm.
sure. I think Chris and I have become sticklers where when we send our requirements to these companies, we send it's a multi-page document, has a lineup of stuff. Okay, everything under the sun, and I mean from grinds, depths, pivot sizes, how big the pivot collars are going to be, how wide they are supposed to be, the depth of milling on there, what kind of pocket clips, the angles of the ramp on the pocket clips. I mean, everything under the sun that you can think of is on these forms. And then in the ones when you ask them for something that is up for kind of like an interpretation, we'll find a picture of something that has some sort of similarity. So,
Mhm.
hey, we want this color. We'll send a picture of the color with it so that they kind of grasp what the ask is here.
Yeah,
So,
it's interesting though. Like with, I also think like with what you're doing a nice high end knife, which is awesome. Because that's really, I think you guys are going to hit it out of the park. Because that's the way you need to start. You need to establish and stamp your name out there, so that way people know, hey man, they just came out with this knife there first, and look, they nailed this thing. This is high quality. This is worth you know what it is. If you were to go out and put out, say, a $30, $40 knife, and it's just a so-so knife, well, what does that establish for you? It
yeah.
doesn't. So I think you
Yeah.
guys are doing it right.
Yeah. And, it's one of those things where good enough isn't good enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the function, quality over novelty. You know, we wanted this to be something that you can use, or you can love, and something that looks like you want to take care of it, but not so precious that you have to cherish it, you know, and not use it. And so, you know, the goal on this one, really, we talked a lot about what we would like the knife to be able to do functionally,
Mm-hmm.
and then also, you know, again, like everybody else here, we like action, and we like, you know, something I'd coined mechanical soul. There's
Yep.
just this
Thank you,
tactile
Fred.
feel.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you, Fred.
Yeah, thank you, Fred.
That's awesome. Yeah,
So
Chris.
I'm sorry, just because Fred's here, I got to mention, you know, you guys were talking about you had the meetup and, you know,
Mhm.
you had all these. Well, I was with Fred on Saturday, and Fred's the same way. You guys have met Fred. He rolls up with these cases of knives, and there's probably more money in the knives in that case than I have in my car. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
Fred's
that's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah. So he didn't bring a lot to Texas because you know
Mm.
that wasn't a driving distance travel there, right? That was flying, and I can understand, especially with the things that he has in his collection, that you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
risk those. But before I walked in the door, he caught me. You know, I walked up to the front door that morning. It was 8 something in the morning, and he grabs me and we talked for a few minutes, and he reached in his pocket and handed me just an absolute firework for a first blade. It was like, you know, just mind blown. I was just like, it's too early to even comprehend how cool this is right now. And he had his son with him, and you know, he reached in his pocket and he hands me a knife, and I'm like, "Oh my god, it is
Mm-hmm.
one absolute smoke show after the next." And
Yep.
you know, Fred's got a T-shirt that says, "I want to collect like Fred." And you know what? That is exactly accurate because it is absolutely insane. And then you know, wandering around, let me tell you, at one point at Blade Show, Texas, I needed to sit down. It was just I was spent. I I know walking these shows is exhausting, but you know, when you're doing it and you're doing it with the intent of doing content creation and then trying to find people to hand your knives to and stuff like that, you're doing triple the steps that you normally do. So I wander over. I saw Fred, and I'm like, man, my back is killing me. I need to sit down. So Fred actually was working somebody's booth, and he actually got up and said, "Here, sit in my seat for a little while," which I greatly
Mm-hmm.
appreciate. That man bailed me out of wanting to fall down. And then he comes over and he hands me just knife after knife, and he said, "Here,
Yep.
check this out. Here, check this out." And it's like, oh my gosh, like I got to record these things. So I mean, it was just yeah, his stuff is unbelievable.
And I had the
Unbelievable.
pleasure of meeting his son last weekend as well. Awesome guy as well.
Yes, yeah,
So,
his
yep.
his his son's a lot of fun too. So
Mm-hmm.
it's dog one, dude. If you haven't seen the video, so Chris actually posted a video on our channel, and it talks all about mechanical soul. And I've mentioned this a bunch of times on our channel because it's a really popular video for us. Go into our long view videos and find that video. It's a little bit old, but check out that video Chris did on Mechanical Soul, and he talks all about this. He really kind of dives into it, makes you do a little bit of an inner search of yourself on that video. It's really cool. So if you want something to chew on for a little while, make you think a little bit, check that out.
Well, thanks. Yeah, you know,
It's a great term.
well, thank you. You know, knives they're so subjective, and I think it's just so important, right, to figure out what you
Mm-hmm.
like and then jump in there.
Hey, Mike,
What do you
thanks
have
for
to say?
coming in, buddy. Appreciate you. Good to see you, man. We'll see you on the
Thank you,
next
sir.
one for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I think that some people like a light detent. Some people want a really stiff one. Some people, there's different lock types and what does it feel like and whatever it is to you. But I've kind of coined this as something that stimulates multiple senses, right? There's something about it that just sings to you when you flick it. And when you
Mhm.
find that's what you like. And I don't think it's the same for everybody.
No,
I think
it's
it's
not. That is an individual thing.
I
James,
think it's
you don't need
weird
to
for me.
step up your collection, bro. Okay, don't try and keep up with the Joneses when it comes to collecting knives. Collect what speaks to you, man. Okay, there's no way. I know I can't keep up with a lot of the people either. I know a lot of us can't, but we collect
Mhm.
what we like. So don't feel like you need to keep up with the Joneses, bro. Just keep up with what you want to keep up with and what interests you and makes you happy when you touch a knife. Okay, that's what it's all about. It's not about keeping up with anybody.
And
What
also too,
were we
like you
saying,
don't.
Lance?
I was just saying. Well, like for me, it's again. I've had knives since 1982, so I've pretty much handled just about every type of knife. Currently, I'm sitting with over 300 knives, and I've got stuff in all price points. I've got high end stuff. I've got low end stuff. And it's like it's really weird because I know like some people are hell bent on this is what I like. I'm gonna be honest, I like it all. I really do. Like I know some people hate button locks. I love a good. I'm not button locks. I mean crossbar locks.
Crossbars. Hmm.
I love crossbar locks. To me, this is so fidgety and so much fun. Yeah, okay, it doesn't have the feel of a real detent, but to me, that's never really. I don't know. It doesn't matter much to me. You know, like this wee knife. It's a button lock. It's a good old plunge lock. It's not a top liner lock. Still love it. I love button locks. I love the fact that I can sit there and play around with it all day long.
Yeah.
You know, but like I don't know. It's really tough for me to pinpoint what I love because I have a tendency to what's the flavor of the week for me. You know, and then every once in a while I fall in love with something that's not ridiculously high end that I just think is like a perfect knife for me, and I'm going to show you one here. And this is the Asher knives Warren EDC. This is one of the most perfect knives I've ever handled. The detent is really great on it. The lockup's great. I love the blade shape. The feel of the G10 on this is amazing. Everything about this knife I love. The action on it is just phenomenal. It has that beautiful ting. These are only like $130.
Yeah,
You know,
Asher. So I just did the
I
A lock,
saw it.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, absolutely, it is hard to argue the value that you get out of an Asher knife. It is actually mind blowing. I don't know how they make money. I mean, I really literally don't know how they make money. So, yeah, I agree with you 100% there, man. Burning Stables Forge, Clayton in the house. He's editing videos. What is up, buddy? Good conversation earlier today with me, by the way, bud. I appreciate your time as always.
And Patty, I would have given you that drop bear if just for the let me play with your collection. I would have been like, here, you can have it, take it home.
That drop bear zero looks really nice. I haven't actually handled it yet, but I keep looking at it. I'm like, I need to get one because
It is.
I'm a big drop bear fan to begin with. So
Mhm.
in fact,
She
that's
she likes black and purple, or purple, I should say. And I've got the black and
yep.
purple model.
Like this is one of my favorite drop bears. This is the Rule 9 drop bear where it has
Yeah.
the Rule 9 always carry a knife in
Yep.
under the Lexon. You know, love
Yeah.
this knife. One thing I love, and I wish more manufacturers would do, I love when you bring jimping to the front of the blade because
Yep.
I like to do a lot of precision cuts where it locks in, and I wish more manufacturers do this. I'm noticing it a little bit more now, but it's one of those things I really like that on that style of blade. Obviously, it's not going to work on every style, but
You're in
because
luck, Lance. The Gracchus
mhm,
has it for you, buddy.
yep.
Yeah.
So,
We went jimping all the way to the tip almost.
mhm,
So I have 3 drop bears now. I have the drop bear zero. I have the crystallized tie handle version drop bear with LC200N blade, and then I think I grabbed it on Amazon when it was like on sale. They had one that was on there for like $30. It's just a plunge lock or a button lock one, real simple and like 14C. And I just couldn't say no to it at the price point that it was. So I love the drop bears are great. And
I gotta tell you, Kaiser is actually one of my probably in my top 4 companies that I have knives from. I love Kaiser. I think they
Kaiser
do
doesn't
such a good
complain,
job.
man.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you who's on fire right now, though. Bostede right now is absolutely blowing it up. I think that they may actually be on pace right now to be manufacturer of the year. And they're just everything that they are releasing right now is crushing.
I've got like
Absolutely
4.
crushing.
I have like 4 different Bostedes. I love every one of them. You know the biggest problem with Bostede? They don't produce enough knives. They sell out of everything, and then you have to wait months and months and months for it to come back in. You know?
I'm actually going to show everybody. So I was fortunate enough to get the porcupine in the S90V version. So the acid etched. Check out those scales on here, man. It's so cool. And look how thin this thing is. I mean, it is just absolutely ridiculous. They did inset liners on this to tuck everything. And the action on this thing is just absolutely spectacular and really, really, really cool. I was able to get on that morning, and 7:59, I started hitting the refresh button on my phone, and 8 o'clock hit. That thing went live, and I said add to cart. So I was able to grab one of these things. I have been wanting one of these for a long time. Is an ask that Chris and I have both had was please put out a premium version of the porcupine, and they did, and I was fortunate enough to get it. So now they need to get an XL version, right, Chris?
Absolutely. They need a
By the way,
porcupine XL.
Fred's 100% right. They're doing it on
Yeah.
purpose because you have that fear of missing out. 100%, Fred. I agree with that. That happened to me with the Martin. When they had dropped the Martin, and Martin is one of my favorite small knives. Well, my biggest complaint about it was I want a bigger version. When they dropped the larger version, I missed out on it. And now it's been months and it's still not there. And I'm like, well, when it comes back, I'll grab one. But, you know, and I'm not going to hit the secondary market because it's just, they'll jack up the price. So it's not worth it. But I love the original Martin. Now I can't wait to finally get my hands on the larger Martin. It's such a great knife. The other thing about Vastid, I will say, almost all their knives, whether it's their, you know, they don't really have low price knives, but even like their lower price knives, all hit way above their price points.
Yeah.
You know,
the original porcupine at like 60 and $70 is probably the low number for them, right?
Right. Yeah.
So,
exactly.
And I don't disagree with the whole FOMO and hot increasing sales. At the same time, I will say that if you look around the community at a couple of them where they marketed the hell out of something, and then they do a drop and it didn't sell the way they wanted to, and now they were sitting with the stock on the shelves and stuff like that. And you know, Vastid can overcome something like that, but you know, like when Casey did the tornado, he's still waiting to sell out of the tornado. I mean, he's getting down to a lot lower amounts of knives,
right?
But there are still, what's the one that Devo dropped? The Saloon, right? There's still Saloons left. So
there's still because I actually just ordered one. There's still Growler XLs out there. White Mountain Blade still has them.
Yeah,
White knives.
Stout V2s as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, those companies right there. Those are the guys that get hurt from that, right?
Yep.
You're always going to piss somebody off, right? You don't order enough and it sells out too fast, and then they get mad at you because they didn't get a chance at it. You take too much, and then the company's sitting there with stock, and you can't get rid of them. And then the next thing you know is that they're throwing out discount codes and dropping prices and stuff like that, and they're not making the money that they should have been making on it because they decided to order 800 instead of 400 knives. So I don't know. I see it both ways.
Well, yeah, but thing is, like you know, like Casey and like Lefty, they're what I call the independent manufacturers.
Sure.
You're the same way. Small
Yep.
manufacturers. With them, I get keeping the numbers low. But if you're a big manufacturer like Lostede, where you have the wherewithal and the resources to do it, I think because what happened. All right, here's the point. I had money put away for the large size Martin. You know what happened? I spent it elsewhere because I couldn't get it. And that's that's what happens. That's a risk that they run too. Because all right,
Yeah.
let's face it, I'm one of those people. I'm a shopaholic sometimes, and I like that instant gratification. If I can't get it, I'll just find something else. But that's me.
No,
Yeah.
you're right on that. And Fred, you're correct on this, on what you're saying here, right? Is it my impression that production knives should sell out and shouldn't have stock for a few months? I think it depends. I think it depends on what their business model looks at, right? If their model is sell it, move on from it, or whatever it might be, then maybe. At the same time, this is, and sitting in this seat now and learning this myself, it is awfully hard to judge how many you need. It is extremely hard. Chris and I go back and forth. I don't know how many times we've talked about how many we're going to order, and we weren't
300 or
going to do a
10,000.
pre-order. What's that, buddy?
Do we get 300 or do we get 10,000?
Yeah, we're definitely not going to get 10,000, but I mean, the minimum order quantity for us would be 300 knives. Do we order 300 knives? Do you think I need to order more knives? Should I order 400 knives? But if I order 400 knives and I'm stuck with 200 knives, what do I do? So,
Well,
I mean, it's
it-
kind of a weird thing with that.
if you're Kaiser, if you're Vostede, if you're somebody like that and you're making knives, you don't really mind if you have some inventory, probably. You kind of think it's cool if it sells out. What I don't, in our situation or even in Devo's situation, we don't have space to let inventory pile up in our houses. We can't.
No.
I can't store 600 knives here.
No, and my wife is a quilter, so therefore, she's already a hoarder by design. So I can't hoard as well.
Yeah, her stuff takes up more space.
Trish says 300. So let me tell you what we are going to do, and I think this is the plan that we are working with. Okay, when it's time, we are going to open a pre-order. We're going to open a pre-order for 30 days. Upon the 30th day, we're going to place the order. Now, if pre-order shows up and there's 400 knives, then we're going to order obviously what we need to order plus some more so that we have some inventory to sell. I mean, not a lot, but if we had 400 in pre-order, then we're going to order 500 knives. If we have 200, then we're just going to order the 300. If we have 300, we'll order like 400, something like that. But at the end of 30 days, whatever it is, we're placing an order one way, shape, or form. What the pre-order does is going to dictate how we order that.
And you know what? You're a small company, but there are big companies who do it just as well. For instance, this is the Kaiser Buddy. This was released as a Kickstarter by Kaiser. Not because Kaiser didn't release it as a Kickstarter because they were ever in doubt of putting it out, but that told them how many they needed to build right off the bat because they knew how many they had sold through Kickstarter, gauged the interest. Same thing with this one. This is a CJRB. This is the premium feldspar. Okay, this is the re-release of the feldspar. What did they do? They dropped these on Kickstarter. Why? Because now they know how many we have to produce. So, and you're basically doing the same thing, but you're doing it direct as opposed to going through like a Kickstarter. But big companies are doing it as well.
Yeah. Dog one. So the Rosie, two parts to that. I see what you're saying. One is I don't know that they want to do that and remove the exclusivity of their knife in their own right. But the second thing is that they just opened a new facility that is going to be way bigger and enable them to put out a lot more. If you go to their Instagram page, they have a lot of videos. They have one where Jordan walks through the building and shows everybody all the different stations and stuff like that. And it's really cool how he breaks down how he set up the building with all the water jets, CNCs, polishing machines, and the assembly stations, lasering, all that kind of stuff. So they may increase capacity and output in this, coming months and into next year as they ramp up that new facility. But at the same time, they have been really exclusive and high demand. I don't know if I was them. I don't know how much I'd want to change that. I'd still want to keep somewhat of an edge there. The minute you remove that edge, it devalues it in some way. So that's just my thought.
Yeah, I love the Rosie XL. Trish brought her Rosie with some others, and you start looking at comparing that to Holt and a couple others that she had, and man, it's I love the Rosie, but again, that's I think that they would have to drop the price if they started doing it a lot. If they had a lot more, I think they would eat up the market awfully fast. Would be my guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'd have to go on volume.
Absolutely. And Fred, Fred's not a big fan of it. He says they sell for double what they should. I guess value is in perspective on that, because people keep paying that, and then on the secondary, a lot of people are paying the premiums on those things. So I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I think it's just a matter of what you value in the knife for it, and some people find that value there.
And I also think there's different types of knife people. And what I mean by that is there are guys like us. We know knives, we study knives, right? But then you got like my friend who just buys knives because they're users. They don't care about the collectability. They don't care about the name. They're just going to go out and use their knife. They're never going to sharpen it. They're going to use it till it dies, and they're going to get another one, And I think, honestly, I'm going to guess, because obviously I'm making the statistic up in my head like most statistics are, but I would say about only 20% of us who buy knives are into the collectability and knowing what the steels are and knowing, what the handle materials are and that sort of thing. Where the majority of the people out there, they're just buying knives to use. They're tools.
Yep.
See you, Ramses. Thanks for coming in, brother.
I mean, Lefty was talking about that in one of the chats where he said, let's face it, 80% of the, and this is a direct quote from, not Lefty, I'm sorry, from Knives Fast. Casey basically said 80% of the people could get by with 440C and never have to worry about it.
And
that's the reality. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like what we were talking before about how knife tubers can influence people. I'll give you a good one. We all talk about sharpening choils. No one spoke about sharpening choils until Neves started doing that. And the reality is he's a sharpening guy, but the majority of people out there are never going to sharpen their knife. So a sharpening choil doesn't mean a damn thing to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm guilty of it too. I look at a knife and I'm like, oh man, the sharpening choil on that's terrible.
Yeah. If I have to,
Fred, thank you for coming in, buddy. Good conversation tonight, man. Good to see you.
Yeah. If I have to sharpen, like you, my knife collection's in the 3 digits. If I have to sharpen them all down to the choil, I'm in trouble. Right.
And
something terrible's happened in the world.
And with me, I mean, I basically every day I post on Instagram what my carry is, and I never carry the same knives twice in a row because I like knives, so I like to switch out, and and to me, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy the show and tell of it.
Yeah.
I enjoy getting the feedback, whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, even on YouTube. But also it helps me put out, like I put out about 1.5 to 2 minutes short every day, just showing what my main carry knife is for that day. You know? So I'm never going to dull out a knife as far as my EDC knives. I will say that. My outdoor knives, that's a different story because I use the same ones when I go camping and hiking and all that stuff all the time.
Yep.
You know.
Well, I mentioned something about it in a recent video that I did. So BEDC's knife made its way through to me on pass
Such a
around.
beautiful knife.
It
Really is a
it
beautiful
really is,
knife.
and the action on this thing is outstanding. I absolutely love what Brian did. I also know that I talked to Brian when he first got the shipment in, and he almost canceled selling it because of the choil, because they screwed up his design and they wound up not incorporating the sharpening choil that was part of his design.
Mhm.
So I mentioned, I don't tell that story, but I mentioned that, you know, I wish it had a sharpening choil there. But I also point out in my review that it's really not something that affects me per se, because for the way that I use my knives, I can strop back a knife like that, and that is going to be no problem. I'll never have to re-profile. That being
Mhm.
said, I also mentioned that for people who are hard users that want to drop that edge angle back, that want to do all that kind of stuff, that could be a potential problem.
Right.
Couple few sharpenings down the road, you're going to start to get a smile, and then you're going to start to cut in even more because it is instantaneously on the plunge grind. I mean, the blade goes blade plunge grind, no choil. As a
Right.
matter of fact, I think I sent it off already. Otherwise, I'd say I'll just grab it. But no, I sent it off the other day. So that's, I mean, I get it, but I try to be transparent about that stuff. I'm not trying to tell everybody, you know, hey, you need to have a sharpening choil. If it's not for you, then fine. This doesn't apply to you. If it does, then it does. I'm trying to get better at how I review a knife to explain to people what is subjective worth versus what I feel is something that needs attention.
Mhm.
See, Sister Stable says that she carries the same one every day, but then rotates her back pocket carry daily. So she
Yeah,
carries the launch every day.
I was
Good,
talking to a friend of
good
mine.
selection.
He's been carrying the same Kershaw knife for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, he finally
Yeah.
reached out to me. He finally reached out to me the other day and said, "All right, I'm looking for a new knife." He goes, "I saw the Manix 2 in your video." He goes, "Is it worth it?" And I happen to have it because I always. This is probably one of my favorite knives. I don't carry it all the time. The Manix 2 is one of my favorite knives of all time. And I said to him, "I was like, you can never go wrong with that knife." Nope.
He's
And
got he now has a lifetime supply of knives because he bought a Manix too.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. My grandfather's been carrying the same knife since the 1950s. Right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean it's late, late 50s. He bought the same knife he carries, and he was a tradesman. I mean, he uses it all the time, and and it's funny. I did a video and I talked about it in there that I never saw my grandfather sharpen his knife, but man, he always had it on him and he always used it, but I never saw him sharpen it. And I did ask him about it a few weeks ago, and I was like, I never saw you sharpen that thing to hold a blade. And he started laughing. He's like, no, that damn thing would get dull sitting in my pocket, because again, it's a
Right.
1950 something. But he was like, no,
Yep.
and told me he stropped it every night when he took off his belt. He just stropped it there at
On
the
the back of the
bedside.
belt.
Yep,
Yep.
put it away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The
Bulldog Smith.
advantage. I was going to say the advantage of a leather belt as opposed to synthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bulldog Smith Farms. He's got 258 subs. Congratulations, man. Growth.
Very
That's good
nice.
stuff. I did send you a response on your question the other night regarding some information on doing live streams and stuff like that. Reach out to me, check what I sent you. Let me know if you want to do something with that. I'm happy to help you. Like, we can set up something privately and do like a private live, and we can dial you in and all that kind of stuff, and see if we can't build you up. And our community, if you guys aren't, do me a favor and subscribe to Bulldog Smith Farms EDC. Go check them out and give him a sub. Let's help him grow. That's what this community is all about. Everybody's always helped us generously to get to where we are and grow our channel. So, we want to make sure that we're passing it down too. So if anybody's not sub to Bulldog Smith Farms EDC, go in there and check him out. Give him a sub. And then when you do, go to one of his short videos and give it a like, because that will beat the algorithm from throwing you off. A lot of times they think when growth happens that it's a bot. And if you like a video, it negates that. So just go in there and hit that like button on one of his videos. That'll help out significantly. Appreciate you all.
And I just subbed. I thought I was subbed, but I wasn't. So I just subbed now, and I just gave a quick thumbs up on a short video. So you got a new sub in me.
Nice.
Awesome for sure.
So when's your next drop, Lance? When are you going to do your next knife?
I don't know. I have some ideas. Honestly, I have some ideas for a folder.
Nice.
I also have another idea for another fixed blade, but I'm going to just enjoy this one for right now and kind of, because my goal was never to be a knife designer. But I had something. It's something inside me said, no, I want to do this. Like over the years with my different hobbies, I built like custom motorcycles. I built custom guitars, and and all of a sudden I've got this itch. I'm like, I've got ideas of what I want, and I think like it's one of those things. What I want in a folding knife is not necessarily what I think. The way I would design it, honestly, is I would design it to find something that I haven't found yet. And I don't mean that it wasn't done, but I think there's a combination of things that I want that I haven't seen yet. So, and I have some ideas. Now, practicality is I'm not an engineer. I don't know if it'll work or not. So that's where I have to grab an engineer and say, hey, will this work? That sort of thing.
Hey, Lance, we happen to be engineers.
I know.
Good news. You got a pair of them here.
So what you're saying is my subtle hint was taken. Very good.
There you go, buddy.
I can sketch things all day on paper. I mean, I don't know. Everybody knows. Like I'm a marketing person. So advertising and that kind of stuff comes natural to me. And my degree is actually in commercial art. So putting things on paper is really easy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I used to be a kitchen designer, and I used to work in CAD all the time, but I haven't worked in CAD in over 15 years now. So I wouldn't even know where to begin to have to restart it,
Yeah.
But
Bluminati posted custom Rob's Nerdy Knife wife's poker chips available for a limited time to support brother Rob and Mrs. RNK. Your post works. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure you were a mod, Blue.
Can you pin that, Sam?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I feel so bad for Rob, what he's going through, and
couldn't imagine.
Here we go.
I couldn't. And the fact that right now, I mean, he's selling a large part of his knife collection.
Yeah, I saw his post today.
Oh, it's just that just kills me. Especially since Rob's such a good guy in the community,
I think the other thing though is, so Rob is preparing for what hasn't come yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's worried about the air flight bill that's going to come.
That's what he had said. Yeah.
Rightfully so. I understand those are expensive, but at the same time, $35,000 for an airlift to Austin is what Blue said. The thing with those is that a lot of times you can work with the airlift company and the insurance company, and there's some negotiations, and that could drop that bill significantly. They can get some assistance on that stuff. And I really hope that Rob does that. I love Rob. He's a great guy. He's super kind and a great part of the community, and I feel terrible for what he's going through. But I also would hate to see him get too far ahead and start stripping down when it's not necessary, So, but in the meantime, look, folks, Rob is such a great part of this community. He does so much for so many people. So go to that link that we just put in there and make sure that you are giving him your support. Grab one of those. Did I pin? Yeah, I did pin it. Make sure you're grabbing one of those poker chips if you can. Every little bit helps. If you're interested, Rob's got some knives that he has for sale right now. He's not asking astronomical numbers or a premium or anything like that. Most of them are actually pretty good deals. So if you want something pretty nice, over, see what he's got. I'm sure he's taking from the least favorite to the favorites as he goes through and seeing what he gets out of this stuff. So, but help a fellow community member out. Why can't I talk tonight? And see if we can't help him financially in supporting him and his wife while they go through these tough times and whatnot, because he's such a good dude, and he does a ton for everybody else. So, you know, even if we want to smack him for that dang kazoo all the time, but we still love him, kazoo and all.
Yeah. Hey, Sam, can you scroll to and post the Jake put a interesting comment up at 1021. I think it's a good conversation piece for us here.
And 21, the Jake.
Yeah.
Real quick,
anyone else seen a knife like it and order it, comes in and disappointed, and then fall in love with it for a different reason, or is it just me?
Nope, that's every one of us.
Yep.
Jake, so I don't know if you ever heard the story on us when we went to Blade Show and looked at the Chris Reeves Sabenza. But that's a good starting point conversation to talk about how Chris and I literally laughed at these people for asking like $500 for that knife, and then turned around and said that these other companies like, you know, Benchmade and Spyderco are going to eat their lunch, I think was Chris's words. So little did we know at the time, because we were uneducated and apparently uncultured.
Yeah, I would also say for me, the Knives Offender was the same way. Like that's my top 3 favorite knives now. I love the Offender. It's like an extension of my hand. But when I first got it, I think I was so hyped up that I had such high expectations and they fell short, but then just kept playing with it and carrying it, and then I fell in love with it.
Clint Duncan in the house.
Real quick, some people are asking to see one of my custom guitars that I built. So
Clint works for me, actually, Lance. He works with me, and he's a friend of Chris and mine, and he is a longtime guitar player, and he's quite the musician. So if you've got something to show, I'll blow your screen up for you.
Well, okay, so sitting on the other side of the cabinet, this is actually my recording studio. Like right behind me, there's amps here, there's guitars over there. There's, in this room, 23 amps, about 200 effects pedals, and 38 guitars currently. So this is a replica of Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstrap that I made. So I did all the painting. I put this whole thing together. And it's not a perfect copy because there's some things I couldn't do because I couldn't find the right body when I was doing this. And quite frankly, I did this a long time ago before I had money to actually do the right thing. But I still think it came out pretty cool, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but I've played since I was 16. So I started playing in 86. So I played in bands, I toured, I've done a lot of stuff. I used to work in recording studios. Music was a very big love of mine for a long time. And I could reach down and just grab effects pedals that are sitting here. There's all kinds of stuff. So my wife is like, your room's out of control, because this was originally very clear, but now like there's a couch to my left, which literally there's just knives sprawled out across that whole couch, you know.
Clint loves. He's a great musician. He just said he wanted to write our theme song, but we're not really looking for a Karen Carpenter type of a vibe for our opening.
Yeah, I don't know if custom theme songs for us would be fitting. or not on that one, but we'll think on that one, Clint. You're kind for offering that. I truly mean that. That's not a joke. That's we do appreciate the kind gesture for sure. But yeah, Lance, I know I've seen at least a few of your guitars through lives and stuff like that that you've shown over time, and I know you have a ton. I'm down to 1, 2, 4, 5. I think I'm 6 and 2 basses and 2 acoustics and 1 pedal set. And the pedal set that I have is an old Digitech R, as in an RP22. It was the first one that had MIDI control systems to it. So, I mean, yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've really been into like the whole guitar thing, but I used to play guitar. I played bass for a while. I have custom 6-string, 2 custom 6-string basses. So yeah, I definitely understand. I got rid of a lot of stuff, a lot.
I saw in the last year I sold 13 guitars, and that was literally to pay for knives.
I think the last time I sold guitars was right before I moved from New Jersey to Indiana. It was just one of those things where it was like there was just so many of them. There was no need for me to have them, and it was moving unnecessarily, moving stuff. So I
Right.
trimmed it down to just a handful of stuff.
So you talked about knives, you talked about guitars, you talked about watches. What's your biggest passion of the three and why?
It's actually none of the three. Like
Ah,
what some people know, some people don't, is I'm a paranormal investigator. I run a ghost hunting team called East Coast Ghost. Sometimes you see one of my buddies in the chat who is using our team YouTube. Me and my wife have investigated since 2005, well over 200 locations all across the country. I've investigated everywhere from California to Florida up to into Maine. Um, I I'm one of those people. I'm a skeptic. I'm not a believer. So I go in there with the intentions of disproving everything. And I roll in with tons of scientific gear. I don't believe in the whole psychic thing. I don't believe, and most of the time when I go in and do investigations, I can disprove most of what I find. I can always find a human element behind what's going on. But as my best friend and partner in crime, Rick, always says, as a ghost hunter, 90% of the time you find nothing. The other 9% of the time, what you find you can disprove, and then that 1% of the time, you live for that oh shit moment when there's something that happens and you just can't explain it.
have you had one of those?
I've had multiples of those. I had where we were investigating in the Burlington County prison in South Jersey, and that prison shaped like a U. We were on the right wing, okay, and they have what they call the dungeon, which is actually on the top floor, which is their maximum punishment facility. We were in the men's wing, and we heard a noise coming from the other side, which is the women's wing. I go down there, and it was the only time I've ever actually been afraid on an investigation because I heard a noise and it came from around the corner. And I took my infrared camera because we're in complete darkness, and I turned the corner looking at the camera first, and then I popped out. Didn't see anything. We move all the gear, we go down and investigate. As we're investigating, I feel what feels like hands on my shoulder pushing me down. And I felt like a weight, and I was having trouble with the breathing. Well, on voice recorder, we're recording, and we're asking questions like, is there anybody here? Who's here with us? We get a female's voice that comes through and says, we ask, is there anybody here with us? And we get a female's voice that says, yeah, baby, immediately followed by a man's voice that says, move it, just move along. Well, we're in a prison. It sounds like we're hearing a female inmate and then a male guard speaking, and that's all on audio. We have that on video, audio. Now, later on, I'm watching the show Ghost Hunters, and they investigated there. The same spot where I had what felt like hands pressing down and me losing my breath happens to Bruce Tango on the show the exact same way. Which was
Wow.
like when
What
I
prison
see
were you at?
what you call it? Burlington County Prison. So it's the
Okay.
so if you're down in Burlington County, you have the old prison, and then there's a new prison which is next to it. The new prison's in use, the old one's been retired, and we investigated in there.
Have you ever done Eastern State Penitentiary?
Yes, yep. My
Yeah,
wife will not. My wife won't go back.
yeah. I've been there a couple times, and the first time I went was from their haunted house thing, which, by the way, is really cool. It's called Terror Behind the Walls, and they use
Mm-hmm.
all the local colleges.
Yep.
The acting students all are the members of the show, if you will. And I mean, props and makeup and everything else, and they're fantastic. But besides that, I went back another time, and I could tell you, man, I don't get freaked out or anything very easy. I got pretty freaked out that day though. Like that one kind of even sent pricklies down my arms and whatnot from some of the things. It's just you feel the difference in the air, right? Like that. I think that's how I don't know even know how to explain it, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a believer either, Lance. Right? That's I'm with you on that. I would be the one trying to disprove.
Yep.
But yeah, even that just yeesh, freaked me out, man.
And my wife will not go back there. She feels so uneasy when she's there. She's like, I won't go back. She feels just like, and she feels that kind of stuff. I don't. I'm like, and I can't understand when she says she feels it, but when she says she feels things, we generally find something. I will never forget the first time we rolled into Gettysburg. As soon as we got to within like the edge of town, she started feeling like, okay, something's tingling. I'm feeling like a heavy presence. And I'm like, okay, whatever, because again, I don't feel it. I don't, to me, it doesn't mean anything. Well, we had some of the best experiences of our life in Gettysburg. And this is one we were down in, we're I'm trying to think, Culp's Hill. If you've ever been to Gettysburg, where the Battle of Culp's Hill was, we're in Culp's Hill, and we're looking down a path, and there's the Maryland Monument down there. As we're looking down the path, we see somebody who looks like they're wearing Confederate uniform, walking in front of us and going like this, like they're looking back at us, and then just disappeared. We saw
Oh
it.
wow.
We have the
Mm.
camera set up right now. We have the cameras. We always record. We have the camera. As we're seeing it on the camera, it goes to total fuzz and then quickly comes back to clarity. Like,
Oh wow.
what the hell is that? You can't explain it.
Dude, that would
And
freak me the hell out.
well, and the thing is, like if it were one person who saw it, but multiple people saw it, it's like, you know, all right, and people see it from, and this is weird because, like, all right, this is totally off the knife topic, but you ever like you could have people who are in an investigation and they look at something and they see it completely different. And I always try to tell people that's because they're seeing things from different angles. I'm looking at it, say, this way. They're looking at it from like, like a 60-degree angle or whatever it is, 45-degree
Yeah.
angle on a different. So they're seeing it different. So that's the way you can have people who experience the same thing, but have different tellings of it, you know? And because I'm a real like science geek. So I'm always into the science behind it. Like, all right, what's going on here? And like I said, you get that 1% of things, and it's like, holy crap, what did I see? What did I experience? But the reality is, ghost hunting is not like you see on TV. I know almost every ghost hunter that has been on TV. I used to do, and the podcast is still out there. It's called the Paranormal Pulse Podcast. And we used to talk about our investigations. We would talk about, everything under the sun related to the paranormal world. We stopped doing that about, I don't know, 6 to 8 years ago now. I forget how long ago. But I used to speak at a lot of the paranormal conventions and stuff, and I got to know just about everybody that you see on TV who's in that community. And when you see those shows, stuff isn't made up. It's not staged, but it's cleverly edited, you know? And what they do is they use, like for instance, Fort William Henry in Lake George, is a supposedly very haunted place. Well, when Ghost Hunters was going to film there, they actually sent a crew there to investigate before the real crew got there to investigate. So that way they could kind of like figure out, hey, what's going on, what's not, you know. It's just interesting the way that they do these things, you know.
Very much so. Sam Penn, burning stables, were Clayton's
Yes.
comment.
Yeah, I replied that Clayton, you're a goober. And
as far
Trish, be careful, be safe. You can go make sure that you're all good there, please.
Absolutely.
But as far as like
life in the Midwest, right? So
it's like Chris, what you were asking, if I had to choose out of the guitars, watches, knives, currently knives are my favorite. The other thing I collect is motorcycles. That's how my channel started, as a motorcycle channel. But
Okay.
my passion right now is totally the EDC and knife world. And I think that's because that's what I've been doing the longest. I've done that since I was a kid, you know,
yeah.
Whether, you know, camping, outdoors, that kind of thing. This all just feels natural to me, working, you know, knives and outdoor gear. And, you know, my channel became very knife focused, but this summer it's going to go back to more of the outdoors, camping video stuff and that sort of thing, getting out, just showing knives, you know, because that was never my true intentions. My channel literally started out as a motorcycle camping channel where I was going to go out on motorcycle trips and go camping. And then the pandemic hit, and then I had a big motorcycle accident, and I just kind of changed my focus. But I want to get more back into more of that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, the watch thing is relatively new for me. It's only been about the last 2 years that I've been collecting watches. And I don't have anything like Rolex. You know, I have some expensive stuff, but most of that was given to me. Like I have a Longines that was my dad's that he got on his confirmation back in the 50s. You know, that's
wow.
probably my most, and it's all original. And he was never allowed to wear it. They kept it in a safe deposit box his whole life. And when he passed away, I got it, and I have it locked up right now. You know,
Yeah.
Rolf. Yeah,
it's
I'm not a big watch collector. I've got a few nice watches. I've got I took it off before, but I wear my G-Shock a lot. I mean, that's just my everyday stuff. But when I go in the office, I've got a few Movados.
I love Movado. I have a Movado as well.
And then my father, after he retired from working, he was in the finance business. But when he decided he was going to retire, he gave me his Rolex as a gift, and he's had that since I was a little kid. But he got it all redone, like tuned up, and you know, just the whole kit and caboodle. So I have one of those, and you know, I wear it when it's fancy time and stuff like that. And I actually need to get some of the links taken off because I've lost so much weight now that it just spins around my wrist like this. But it's definitely, I'm not like a huge watch guy. I don't wear them all the time. I do know some people that wear them, but I'm not bonkers about them.
You lost enough weight. The value of your watch is $90 less after you pull the silver links out of it.
$90. I hate to tell you, brother, but those links are worth hundreds per link. It's a Rolex.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I know a guy who just built a Rolex using nothing but authentic Rolex parts. It took him like 10 years to track down every part. He started with the dial face and just, you know, one thing after another, finally built it. And he was just offered like 10 grand for one that he built just from Rolex parts.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the Johnny Cash song.
Patience for that.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, that's just that was his passion. That he, he's a watch guy. He knew he could never go out and buy a $40,000 Rolex. So over the years, he was just collecting parts here and there.
Yeah, it makes me think of that Johnny Cash song where he worked in the car factory and he just stole parts every single day, just snuck them out with him, and ended up building a car after like 15 years of just stealing parts every day.
There you go. It's funny.
Oh, that's funny.
It's funny you say that. I used to work with a guy years ago when I was younger. I worked at Home Depot and we worked in the hardware section. And I worked with this guy for the longest time. He leaves the company and then he becomes a motorcycle buddy of mine. I go to his house one day. I'm like, man, I was like, where'd you get this tool set? He's like, oh, he goes, I just stole one a day the whole time I worked at Home Depot.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
I was like, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah, no. He goes, I need a screwdriver, throw it in my pocket. He goes, I walk out every day. He goes, that's how I built the whole collection. I was like, and I'm like to myself, I'm like, I don't think I could do that. Like, my conscience wouldn't let me do that.
No.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'd feel terrible.
But I was just
my father-in-law was a lifer in the military. He was an aviations mechanic, and so the Snap-on truck would come to the armory base where he worked out of every week. And so he had an agreement with my mother-in-law that every 2 weeks or whatever, when he got paid, that he was allowed to buy one tool. But keep in mind that that's like, a 10 millimeter socket. Like that's one, right? It's not the ratchet set. It is just the socket. So, and those things are expensive as all hell. Well,
yeah, because 10 millimeters don't really exist. They always get lost.
Always.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why I mentioned it actually. And but he has 42, I think it was 42 years plus 2 contract years at that base. And he has one hell of a tool set right now.
There you go.
He has a tool set that's I think he's got a 42 or a 48-inch wide toolbox with the wheels and the multi drawers, and it's all Snap-on stuff. So
nice.
Got one hell of a nice toolbox.
By the way, I got a comment on one of my videos. It was on my TCal video. And in the TCal video, I explained, I'm not going to lie, I'm a TCal fanboy apologist, whatever you want to say, right? Mm-hmm. And the guy wrote a nice comment. And then he was like, oh, by the way, he goes, you are, he goes, a TCal fanboy. And just as he's saying that, I'm opening up a box from TCal. And this is what came today. The TCal Agent 002. And I'm just laughing. I'm like, yep, just as you're saying, I'm a TCal fanboy. Another one arrives at the house.
That one's sexy. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, I just like TCal. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I'm a TCal fanboy. Wearing a TCal hat right now. Early says wearing a TCal shirt. I've got TCals all around.
TCal's a good company, right? And so I mean, there's nothing wrong with liking what you like for sure. Yeah, it's funny. I was going to mention a commenter that hit our channel as well. Actually, I've seen several of them on the same video. So, in case anybody wants to know that's in here, so there's a mistake on this knife. This is the Monterey Bay Knives Honey Badger. This is their new drop. Okay. And on their website, there's a mistake in the profile of this knife. It says that this knife is on Phosphor bronze washers. It is not. It is on bearings. I took this apart and confirmed it. I also reached out to Sanford at Monterey Bay Knives and asked him which one it's supposed to be, just in case, he put bearings in for the show or something so that they're all super fidgety. Okay, he said, no, they're supposed to be bearings. I said, okay, well, your website is wrong. And he said, okay, cool, I'm going to go fix that. Now, he hasn't done that yet. I don't know if he forgot or what the deal is, but look, people are trying to correct me on my video, and I'm just trying to explain that it is absolutely 100% confirmed that these are bearings in this knife. So that is all.
Now, but see, now you have the basis for another video. Take it apart and show them the video. No, I was right.
I am absolutely going to be doing that. You know, I'm planning to do a few different things with videos. One of the things that now that the weather is getting warmer, I'd like to get outside and do some like while I'm walking around or something like that. The only issue is that I'm in this development, and I don't know if I want to just be, you know, with a knife, like right on the side of the road and whatnot. People are
I,
gonna be like freaking out or whatnot, like I'm some psycho. But you know, plus I'm moron talking to myself because they're not gonna. It's inevitable. They're gonna not realize I'm recording, and they're just gonna think I'm nuts.
Yeah, they're calling the
but
sheriff on you for sure.
yeah, see,
I've got several neighbors that are sheriffs. That's probably the other thing that I'm concerned about is I'm going to get it on video. Get down! He's got a knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, all my outdoor videos basically, I where I am here in New Jersey, I've got the Appalachian Trail all around me. So I usually stop. I'll be driving home and I'll stop, and I do a lot of short hikes anyway, and I'll record those. But sometimes I need to record like just a short video next to my house, and I'm in a development just like you are, and I'm always afraid of the same thing because I will sit there and I will record, and same thing. I got a knife in my hand and I'm talking with the camera, and I'm like, these people are gonna think one, I'm nuts, or they're just gonna be afraid because I'm carrying a knife.
Yeah. Blue says I should have a sign on my back that says "recording for a channel." It's like a recording in progress. Do not disturb. That would be hilarious. I need a shirt like that.
Mm.
Oh, that's actually pretty funny, dude. That's actually really funny. So,
By the way, the other reason why I stopped doing motorcycle content, it's ridiculously hard to do because you wind up shooting tons of video of you riding. Then then you get out, you set up a camera so that way you could get a video of you riding by, going around the curve, and then you got to edit it all down, right? It's insane. And then I started shooting with a 360 camera, which editing on a 360 camera is the most ridiculous thing you could ever do. When you start to go into that, and it was just like it would take literally a week to put out a
Yeah.
30-minute video. And I was also doing drone footage because I want to show, hey, this is where I'm riding, and now you get the drone going up, and just to edit all of it, it's just insane.
Yeah, I bet you'd go for a 2-hour drive and have 20 hours of editing.
Mm-hmm.
I get frustrated enough doing editing for knife videos right now, man. I mean, I'm trying to be a little bit better about incorporating at least a little bit of B-roll into some of the videos and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
so that it's not all just dry in my hands and stuff. But at the same time, I'm forgetting a lot of stuff too because right now I'm so overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that's come in recently. 2 weeks ago, I got like 6 different people in pass around that landed on me next. So all of a sudden, it was like Box City at my front door. I was like, "Oh my god, like people are going to be waiting forever for knives." So I'm trying to like filter through these things as fast as I can, but I don't want to ignore some of the other things that I think are important, So that's why I
Well,
threw in like the
I know.
porcupine. It's a brand new knife. I want to make sure that these are being shown while they're
I'm
still a
I'm
subject.
right. I'm right there with you. Like right now, literally, I've got about 10 videos of stuff that was sent to me by different companies that I have to do, and I'm behind on that. And at the same time, I have 15 of Fred's knives right now to do
Oh
video on.
my, yeah.
And I just got a box in the mail the other day that I wasn't supposed to get. I'm part of a different pass around group, and I got a box and I opened it up and I'm like, what the hell is this box? And there are 4 Katuo knives in there, and I was like, why did I get these? I was like, and then I found out the person who was supposed to be sending a different knife to me mixed up who he was sending the knives to. So now I've got someone's Katuo, someone's got the knife I'm supposed to be doing, and it's like, all right. I was like, well, I'm going to take advantage of the Katuos now. I'm going to film that,
I was
get
just
those
going to tell
out.
you. I was
Yeah,
just going to say,
exactly.
make sure you record on those at least.
Mm-hmm. But it's just I don't have time to do all this. So it's like, it's frustrating.
No,
But at
no,
the same time,
and
it's
now, like
worth
I
it.
said, now I got these knives, like the 7+ knives that they sent me, right? Like I forgot all about that company was sending me stuff. I mean, I'm gonna knock it out. It's just Saturday's
Mhm.
gonna be a busy day where I think I'm gonna really sit down and I'm gonna try and knock out like all of next week's recordings on
That's
Saturday. I'm just gonna have to do it.
That's my plan because my wife is taking our niece down to a cheerleading tournament and she'll be gone the whole day. My plan is not to leave this room until I have at least 10 videos recorded.
Yeah.
You know, not edited, just recorded because then I can edit. To me, the editing I've gotten down right now because I've been doing editing for so long that I've got it into a streamlined process as far as the knife videos go because they're a little bit easier, Um, and I always go in and do the artwork because like every video, like when I'm talking about the what knife it is, I have the manufacturer's logo come up, and I always one of the things I always like to do is credit who the designer is of the
Yep.
knife in every video, and I have that roll across, and I add a lot of like little graphics and stuff. I haven't done a lot with B-roll, but I always do a lot of graphics over. Um, but I've got that pretty streamlined. Um, but it's to me, it's actually sitting down and recording the videos because one, I'm a perfectionist and I've been doing less of it because G Ball had actually given me some advice. He's like, stop being a perfectionist. Because I was going in, like if I stuttered over a word, I would go back in, cut it out, re-record over that as far as the vocal goes. And it was taking me forever. And G Ball's like, nobody's gonna care if you stammer over a word. Nobody's going to care. He goes, even if you say something is say, 14, 20, the wrong blade steel. He goes, you could always put a logo up on the thing saying, sorry, my mistake. It was actually 154,
Yeah.
and correct it that way as opposed to going in.
Hey, Chris,
Um,
this sounds familiar, doesn't it, buddy?
Very much so.
but
So
G-Ball
we
talked me
did
off
the
the ledge with
same
that.
thing.
Hmm.
We did the same exact thing, Lance, right? We were so like trying to be super perfect that in the beginning when we started our long forms, it was to take a 20-minute video or a 15-minute long view video. It took us
Few hours.
I mean,
Yeah.
6 hours of recording, and it was, like, ridiculous, and eventually, we've gotten a lot better, but Frisk kind of still struggled with it for a while for
Hmm.
how he was recording because he kept on trying to be perfect, and,
Right.
recently, he started getting back when and also the other thing is he went inactive for a little while. He took a temporary role at his job, and
Hmm.
Chris just didn't have the time, and so
Right.
when that was happening, he wasn't getting his recording chops up, so he had to kind of dive back into it. And recently, he started doing that, and it's better because I'm finally getting it through to his head. Like, dude, don't worry about screwing up. Like, it's not a big deal, right? And it's hard. It is hard to break that
Hmm.
habit, right? I'm still guilty of that myself. I found myself today where the video that I recorded today, if you look about 6.5 minutes into the video, there's a break. And there's a break because I screwed up so bad that I couldn't recover from it. And so I just stopped the video. And then I realized where I was in the video. So I picked up from there. And then I just,
Hmm.
mended it together, so to speak.
Well, and also too, like I would like make a mistake, right? But it would be something where I had a knife on the table, and now I'm like, and I moved on. I realized, oh shit, I screwed that up. Let's go back. And now I'm trying to position the knife so the continuity is the same when I start up again, and
Oh,
it's
no.
never in the right place. It's like, oh, so I just like, all right, we're not going to do that anymore. So I've got it down a little bit, like I said, a lot better. I've got it more streamlined and whatnot. But it's really funny because I would literally like if I went, I would actually go in and just drop the sound where it said, so people wouldn't have to hear the, it was like, it was that sort of thing. I got like crazy with it. It was way too much.
Yeah.
The other thing too is, I'm sorry. I was gonna say
Oh,
the other thing too is like, since I got monetized, I'm very conscious of the time of my videos. And that's because I used to try to keep all my videos around 6 minutes because my opinion is people don't want to watch more than 6 minutes. If you look at your analytics, videos go up and then they drop off because people
Yeah.
once they get the information up, they just drop out. So my key was You know, that was Casey's original theory. That's why he's knives fast, because all his reviews were going to be 10 minutes and under. And I kind of took that advice. So I was doing all my videos around 6 minutes. But then when I got monetized, I realized if your video is not 8 minutes long, it won't break it to put the commercials in the middle. They have to be 8 minutes minimum. And I'm not going to lie. Obviously, I'm monetized. I want to make a little bit of money off of it. Obviously, I'm never going to get rich, but if I can make a little. So now I make sure that every video is a minimum of 8 minutes. So I get that break in the middle.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
there you go.
You start to think about different things once you get monetized. It's really changes it a little bit. You know? By the way, I'm going to be honest with people. Just because you're monetized doesn't mean you make money. And I'm going to give you a good example. My video from last week is over 8,000 views. It's only like $38 in revenue. You know, so for people, I know a lot of people that like they stress over getting monetized. You really don't make a lot unless you're like the big channels like Casey or.
I'm not even sure when we're authorized for monetization. Which, by the way, I meant to address a question or something that was in the chat earlier, and I will in a second when I'm finished what I was going to say. But I haven't even said whether or not, like, when we get to monetization, I may not even take it. Like, I'm not concerned. We didn't start doing content creation for content creation to make the money there. This was more about building an audience so that we can talk about these. And, you know, don't get me wrong, I really love our community, and I think it's become fun and whatnot to do that stuff. But this isn't about making the money. This is more about, you know, at first and foremost, Chris and I are a knife company. We're content creators secondly. So,
right.
You know, that's the one thing. Now, the thing I wanted to address real quick was somebody asked how come they can't like join as a member for us. So whoever that was, and I apologize, it was way back earlier and we were just in the middle of something and I meant to address it. The reason why you can't is because we are not a monetized channel and we are not, we don't host memberships yet. We haven't crossed that area where we can do memberships. I think we are getting pretty close to it. I know we are over 800 subs, and then watch hours is really where we suffer right now. We don't have a lot of watch hours. So if you all want to help us greatly, by the way, I set up playlists for all our videos. Okay, so long form and lives. If you go in and hit play all, just I don't know, go put your tablet down and walk away and let it play all day long. Okay, if you look over here on my computer, I literally have it playing all day long, just trying to burn up some hours on there. So help out the channel. That would be awesome. We'd appreciate that. But that's why we can't give you a membership right now. When we get to that plateau and we hit that point, Chris and I will talk about whether or not we want to do memberships and whatnot, because, you know, I don't know. Like I said, that has never been the primary goal of the channel. So I don't know if we want to take that step or if we don't want to take that step, because once we do, it adds to the responsibilities of things.
For me, the only reason why I want to get monetized was basically because whatever I make, I just buy new knives to show on the channel.
Sure.
You know, that's the whole reason. I obviously I'm never going to quit my day job. You know, I'm not. You know, I'm only at 30. Well, approaching 3,400 subs at the moment, but it's not one of those things like I you know, I have these delusions of grandeur. I'm going to get rich off of YouTube. No, but it does you know, every month get to help me buy another knife to show on the channel.
Good reason. You know.
Hi, buddy.
Oh, what were you saying, Sam?
You were talking. I think there's a slight delay between us, so every once in a while we step on each other. So I'm telling you, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that the whole idea, I'm with you, Sam. I'm in complete agreement. I like connecting to the community however we can. I don't necessarily think that having them pay us for content or access is is the way to go. And that is that how memberships work? I don't think I've ever been a member of anybody's stuff. So I see the join buttons everywhere. I subscribed and looked at stuff, but I don't think I've actually ever joined anything. But is that a paid fee that you pay to somebody? I'm YouTube ignorant here.
It is something that you pay, and then there's some exclusivity to it as far as like membership giveaways and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and membership lives where only the members will be in it and things like that. And it's also just supporting the channel in general. So,
Yeah.
um, different people's memberships mean different things and offer different things, but basically
Mhm.
that's the gist of it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Laser
like with
Ghost Knives. What's up,
Donnie
Donnie
Bless.
Bless? How's it going, Funky? How are you, man? Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. And then Kathy, you are awesome. I appreciate you hitting play tonight and just letting it kind of burn through some hours for us. We can use all the help
Thank you.
we can get for sure.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So Chris,
Um
I'm sorry, you were saying about the memberships. One of the like benefits of being a member of my channel is once a month I do a knife giveaway that's only for the members. You
Hmm.
know,
yeah.
so and honestly, a lot of what I make off the channel goes into that knife to give away. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know, it's that sort of thing. I think it to me it just helps too, like with that because people like to win stuff, and I can't always afford to go out and give away a knife every week. So having the membership, and then I listen. I've won a bunch of stuff over the years from different channels, and I think it's kind of cool. So I try to do as much as possible, and then also to a lot of like when channels. I'm sorry, when manufacturers send me stuff. Most of that I wind up giving away.
That is, yeah, that does make sense for sure.
Mm.
If so, that's not a bad idea. And that may be something to think about, Chris, when we do get past that point to offer up stuff for the community because I mean, heck, I've given away so much of my stuff. I don't even know if I have
Mhm.
anything left to give away right now. But you know, for sure, like maybe just getting that and then using it to return it back into the community that way might not be a terrible idea. But yeah, we'll talk about it when we get there. Like I said, we're not too far off. I think we're, I don't know, 500 hours or
I,
500 minutes or whatever the heck they get 500 hours.
I, I don't have a,
Um,
I don't have a single knife to spare.
yeah, not at all. This guy just got done telling me earlier that he needs a whole new knife case because he's running out of space and whatnot. It's pretty hilarious. So, speaking of knives, so a couple of weeks ago we were talking about something, and I thought about it a little bit, and I wanted to bring it back up and see what everybody thinks on it. So, and by the way, I haven't said it in a while, so if you are in here and you haven't, smash the like button for us. We appreciate it. And if you have not subbed to the channel, subscribe to us and to the Adventure 50 channel. We definitely appreciate the support. And thank you for coming in and hanging out with us tonight.
I appreciate it.
So
This has been so much fun, and finally got to
awesome.
hang out with Chris. So that's awesome.
Yeah, man, for sure. We
Hmm.
love hanging out, buddy. We love hanging out with our friends, and that's how we look at these, right? I
Hmm.
mean, obviously, we like to have guests on here to help out other channels grow, to bring other exposure where maybe there's people from their channels that don't know us that could come over and hang out. But
Hmm.
at the same time, it's just getting to know people where we watch you, but you're seeing
Hmm.
only us typing, right? Having real
Right.
conversation is a lot easier, a lot more fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things. Like when I'm in my live stream and I'm trying to keep up with the chat, it's really hard for me. I wish we just had a way like people could just talk. You know, and
A,
it would be so
a
much
big old
easier.
a chat line.
Well, even if like you don't necessarily have to have someone on camera. If they could just hit a button and say a comment out loud, so I can
Yeah.
hear it as opposed, and that way I don't miss it, or I can address it, and you can go back and forth. Not everybody's a great typist. Let's be honest. especially if you're
Yeah.
typing on a device.
Yeah.
You know,
Trish, if you got knives for sale, I mean, I know what kind of knives you have, so I'm not quite sure that you have knives that I can look at for a giveaway per se. But I mean, if you want to put anything in here that you have for sale, if anybody's interested, we have you've got mod status. Nobody's gonna smack your hand for it. So go for it.
Those go past my desk first for first look, and then they go to the group
Yeah,
chat.
give Chris the first crack at it though. Don't make him too broke. I'm about to ask him for a lot of money when we do a production run here. So, I need him to save up a little bit. But where I was going with this before I kind of went on that sidetrack there is, so Chris and I were talking about this a while ago, and we're thinking about doing something that we're at right now. We're calling it the community knife. And what we mean by that is we want to put out some different like surveys where everybody chooses a different there's different options. So let's say blade shape, right? It's a tanto, it's a drop point, it's a recurve, whatever it might be on there. We put blade shapes there, then we put handles, we put steels, we put um deployment methods, all that kind of stuff. And we ask the community to vote on it. And at the end, I'm going to have one setup that's going to say it is a whatever. It's a drop point. It's a frame lock. It is in S35VN. It's going to have thumb studs. It's going to have a deployment hole. It's going to have a front flipper. It's going to have reversible pocket clip on it, like all that kind of stuff. And then I'll draw it. And then I'm going to present it to everybody and see what they think. And if everybody kind of says, yeah, that's really cool and that's great, we're going to do maybe a small run of those knives and we're going to offer them to just the community first. Okay. So it's kind of like you have your part, your say in a knife. You are going to be the designers, so to speak. I'm just going to be the vessel that kind of puts it together on paper. And we can even do it together, maybe on a live where I draw it out a little bit too, right? So it'll be a really cool experience where I think you guys will feel a little bit more connected to a project. And it won't be a big run and it won't be a crazy expensive knife or anything like that. We're not looking to make crazy money. I think it's just a way for us to have you guys even more involved in something. And I think it will be a lot of fun. And so I'd love to know what you guys think on this. Do you think that's a good idea? And would you be down for it? And if we do that, is that something that you can be on board for? Because if you want to do that, we're going to offer it. Like I said, we'll offer it to you. And I don't know, if the knife costs $120, then, that's what it's going to be. Like, we're not going to try and make any like real money on this thing. It's more about a connection with the community type of thing. So, I don't know. Give me your thoughts on it.
I think it's a great idea.
I'd love to hear from you guys. I just think it's a cool idea.
It's a great idea.
So cool. I appreciate that, Lance. So I don't know. It's just something different, right? I want to do something different. Everybody does everything the same way, and that's no offense. I mean, there's only so many things you can do, but something like that, I just feel like that would be something where everybody has some buy-in, if you will. So thought it'd be a cool idea.
On a side note, Patty said she has what she considers budget knives. So I'm going to guess she's got Hinders and Dimcos that we can buy for giveaways.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Poor Trish. She's getting beat up on for having a nice collection. Whoever would have thunk that one, right?
Yeah.
What's up, Ryan? Appreciate you coming in, brother. Good to see you.
I do agree, Sam. I think that would be a good idea to be, and I think that
John's on board with it. What's up, dude? Good to see you, by the way, man. Sorry if I didn't say hello. Thank you.
I think that it would be interesting for a lot of people to see how the mechanics come together, particularly on paper as opposed to in CAD. In CAD, you can see the machinery.
It's a very different process for sure. Yeah. I agree with you. Thank you, Kathy, for coming in and hanging out. I appreciate you. We appreciate you so much. And
thank you, ma'am.
I had fun on your live earlier today as well. So we will catch up soon. See you later, sistables or sistables or sister stables.
Or Kathy.
Now, it's kind of a joke because people keep saying like her name wrong in
Yeah.
these lives, and somebody called her Sistables the other day, and it was kind of hilarious. So I'm not gonna.
Nice. Sistables. I like it. No, I do think that it's a good idea, Sam. I think that the way that you put things together to ensure that the pivot works properly is nice, and where all the stops going to be and things like that. That how accurate you get before sending it off to do CAD and how minimal the adjustments are, because of how you do it. I think it's fantastic.
Unless you ask Lute, the last one, he may disagree with you heavily, but other than that, yeah, I've been pretty darn accurate. I try my best to get really, really close because I don't want. I'm not paying CAD people. We're not paying CAD people money to design and redesign our knife. It is really to put our knife into a program we don't know how to use. And
Yeah.
in doing so, when something goes wrong and they have to make adjustments, then that's more work for them and that's more than they're supposed to be doing on the design. So I tried to get as accurate as I can with those things. And I really try to think 3 steps ahead with every curve that you make of a knife. Because truthfully, every single solitary thing that you do affects something else. When you move 1/16 of an inch up, down, left, or right on that pivot, where that makes that blade land is so wacky. It translates to a much bigger space somewhere else. And so you have to be super, super careful with all of those things. And then thinking of things like, hey, where does the stop pin hit? And things like that. So it's what is your finish going to be? If you're going to do inlays, okay, but where your lock bar lands, how are you going to put the inlay there? Or are you only going to do it on one side? Or are you going to make it a bolster lock? Or I mean, there's so many different things to think about, and you need to be 3 and 4 and 5 steps ahead at all times, because as soon as you lose track of one step, you have screwed up a step that you won't realize you screwed up until 4 or 5 steps later, and you're like, shit, I can't
Yeah.
believe I screwed this up. And now you've got to go backwards.
And what you just said is why we don't see knives. You don't see very many knives that are the same shape that scale more than 2 times. PM2 and PM3, right? There's not a PM4. And you look at the TRM series. You got the Atom, the Neutron, and then the Nerd. Well, the Nerd's a redesign. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not the same. It's not scaling, and uh, I think that only the only one that I've actually seen where I feel like they've done 3 on, and if somebody out there knows more, let me know. Is the Yojimbo, and the Micro Jimbo. But I think it's
Growler, the mini growler, the growler XL, and now they're going to be making a mega growler. So there's another one for you.
but
The tall boy is going to be doing it too.
so scaling up is a little bit different, I think.
Sure.
So yeah.
Scaling up is definitely different, but keep in mind he started with the growler, right? And then they went down, and then they went up.
Yep.
So it is, but to your point, I mean, you're 100% on point with what you're saying. When you scale in any direction, the changes aren't just, hey, I shrink it like this, and it's a smaller version. No. That's really
the
not what
heart the
happened.
hardware remains the same size, right? If I'm using my pivot's still the same size regardless of how big my knife is, or not. Maybe it changes. If I'm using T8s across the board, then my hardware's the same size. So yeah, I think that there's some of those challenges that you get when you scale, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't really consider when they want a knife dialed into the perfect size for them.
Yeah. William Hornbossel. Yesterday, I had the honor of escorting the traveling Vietnam Wall into Del Rio and lead the motorcycles after a safety brief. So cool. William, that is an
Cool.
awesome thing right there,
That is
dude.
really
and
cool.
and I bet that was an honor for sure. So that's really cool that you got that opportunity, dude. Good for you, man.
Agreed.
What did Jake say? I think also assigning a dollar value to a part of the knife design, i.e. frame lock costs this much, liner is this much. This is a reference to the design for the knife voting. The locking mechanism is not necessarily indicative of the price as much as the materials that that you're using, right? So if you're doing a liner lock can be just as expensive as a frame lock if your liners are titanium or things like that. I'm not quite sure we're going to be able to accomplish it that way, Jake. I see what you're saying, but I'm not quite sure how to even come up with that crazy idea of how to come up with numbers that way.
We might be able to do it based upon handle material and blade material, but
Yeah.
not like locks and things like that.
Yeah, and you got to keep in mind that we can't really do pricing. It's going to be once we have a finished product, it's where do you want the tier? Do you want this to be budget banger? Do you want this to be mid tier? Do you want this to be a premium knife? Okay, and then from there we can go and price it out, and then we can come back and say, okay, hey, they came back, we've got a price here. This is what we're going to be, what we're going to have to charge for these knives. So who wants in? Who is interested? And if you're not interested, then say, that's it. We won't do it. So, or we'll rethink it, or we'll do a budget version of this instead, or something like that. But, we will try our best to keep the costs down, but it's not going to be as cheap as it could be, only because we're going to run it small, meaning 50 or 100 knives versus the MOQ that we are faced with right now, which is 300 or more. And keep in mind that, we'll always have to order a little bit more. There's warranty packs that need to be pulled, right? I need to have extra pocket clips. I need to have extra pivots and screws. I need to make sure that I held extra knives in case something happens and there's a manufacturer defect, and I can, send me your knife. I'll return it to you, blah, blah, blah. So, no worries on that. We'll figure that stuff out. But I like where you're thinking. I'm glad you're thinking about it, because I think this is going to be really cool, and we'll see how it plays out. And some of it's going to be fly by the seat of our pants a little bit on this one, because I don't know that anybody's ever really done one like this. But I think it's a cool idea.
Agreed.
So, what did Clayton say? I did a premiere during this live. I didn't mean to do it while you were live, so sorry. I was short, like 4 minutes. Don't worry about it, dude. Man, I'm not worried about it. We don't hold court here as far as time goes and stuff like that. Like, I've run, we've run in what, less than 2 hours on one, and then we've run over 4 hours on another. So, I mean,
Yep. We're just happy you're here.
People are just going to do what they got to do. There's too much. There's only 24 hours in a day and an awful lot of channels out there, man. So I don't take offense if somebody needs to run over us or something like that. Do what you got to do, man.
Speaking of which, my shot clock is hitting here pretty soon. I'm going to have to get out pretty soon. I'm getting sleepy.
Oh, boy. I need to get this guy on some coffee. You know that, Lance? He goes to bed, and then you know what I do? Okay, I go to work and I start drawing and I start doing stuff, and then I start sending him text messages through the middle of the night. Then he wakes up to 65 text messages filled with pictures of drawings that I've done, and oh, look at this video that I recorded. And he's like, I don't know, man. I can't go to bed that early.
I sleep. This is no exaggeration. My wife will tell you. I go to bed at 3 in the morning. I get up at 7 every day, 4 hours of sleep. That's all I do. Granted, I drink. It's almost midnight, and I'm drinking a giant cup of iced coffee. And I will be drinking coffee as soon as I get up in the morning. Throughout the day, I alternate between coffee and water. But yeah, I'm that way. Like right after we're done here, I'm going to be editing video. It's just the way it's going to work, you know.
After we're done here, I'm going to record one, and then I'm probably going to set up and work on a couple of things. I've got one drawing left to finish. I've got one drawing that has been nagging me for far too long, and I just need to shut up and just do it and get it done with, because I have been dragging my ass in the mud for far too long on this one. I'm pretty sure that the company that's waiting for it's probably losing patience as well.
Gotcha.
So finish. Thanks, Trish. She's just so finish.
Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, I'm sorry, Nike. My bad. So, yeah, that's go ahead, dude.
Adventure 50. What's the next big thing coming up for you?
As far as purchase, or do you mean
that's open-ended? What? Well, yeah, it's on you.
Well, I've got Dylan Mallory's H2O coming.
Nice.
I was back at #1 on Kickstarter for that. When you guys drop your knife, that's in the plans.
Awesome. Thank you.
There are some budget bangers in there right now. I want to get the Civivi over yonder because I love the yonder, and my whole complaint with that knife has always been it was too small. So now they released the larger size. I want that. When Vosti gets the Martin 330 back in stock, there'll be one of those. But other than that, right now, I don't have. I just went this on my live the other day. I was like, right now, there's nothing out there that's really making me say I need this. You know, and it's like I was like, it was like Sam was saying before. You get to a point where you've got so much stuff. It's like, all right, now I'm much more picky. You know.
Yeah.
Where are you going to Blade Show?
All right, I want to, but this is the problem. It's my 20th wedding anniversary this year, so
she gets to go to Blade Show.
No, unfortunately, I just dragged her. My wife is not a knife person. My wife is not a knife person at all. She's got her grandmother's knife from like the 1940s. And then I bought her 2 knives over the last year. That's her whole knife collection. She's not a knife person. But I dragged her to the Lehigh Valley show over the weekend because I wanted her to meet Trevor from Waxed Wing and know, okay, this is the guy I partnered with, you know, sort of thing. But if she had her choice, she's just not a knife person. So no, she wouldn't go at all. And she gets stuck being my camera person sometimes. Like we'll be out on the trail, whatever. I'm like, all right, you're recording. And she's like, all right, this again, you know, sort of thing. So no, but we have our 20th wedding anniversary in October. So we're looking to take a big trip at that point. So I don't know if it's going to be in the cards money wise. I would love to go to Atlanta. I have family down there, so I don't even have a place to stay. It's just a matter of the money to go down. Because like I said, I got money earmarked for our wedding anniversary. So, and I can't say no to that one. You know, my wife's a saint. Just to give you an idea, about 11 years ago, I decided that I was going to take a year off of work so I could pursue movie making. And she allowed me to take a year off of work so I could pursue movie making. Most people wouldn't do that, you know? And my wife also tolerates, this is one thing I didn't mention because that's not really a hobby or a love of mine. It's a job at this point. I own a photography business outside of my day job, outside of, you know, the YouTube thing. And I'm very fortunate in a way. I work with a lot of models who are developing their portfolios. So I'm constantly around young women taking their photos to the point where my wife's gotten so used to it. She's like, okay, whatever. I don't care. So I have like the most, I've got the greatest wife in the world. And
got the greatest job in the world too, apparently. Jeez.
All right.
Thanks for coming in, Clayton. I'll check you. I'll probably lurk in your live in a little while I'm working. So cool, man. Appreciate you, buddy.
We'll say this. We'll put it this way. That was a lot more fun when I was a single guy 20 years ago.
Paul Mills.
Yeah.
Paul Mills is in the house.
Now it's like looking at the dessert menu, but not being able to eat any dessert. You know what I mean? So, but with that being said, my wife is like a saint. So there's, you know, she's the first priority. Unfortunately, knife show is not this year. Next year,
Sure.
though, it's a whole different thing, you know. So,
Makes
For
sense.
sure, man.
yep.
I hope you get down. I would absolutely love to hang out at Blade Show with you. I know a lot of people that we're going to connect with this year, and then
Hmm.
I mean, Lance, I'm from New Jersey, so the next time
Yep.
I'm heading east, there is no question. I'm going to give you a heads up, and we'll figure out something. We'll connect.
Yeah, and then you guys, because I think by then your knife should be out. Hopefully next year at the New York Knife Show.
Yeah,
Because
it could be. So we'll see what's going on. You know, the one
mhm,
thing is that because of when it lands what, like a month before Blade Show Texas,
they
and
moved it.
so
They moved it to
challenge
February
just
this year.
becomes what to do. What to do with that? Do we go Blade Show Texas, or do we go to New
Right.
York Knife Show?
Mm.
Right. So from a business perspective, Blade Show makes more sense to us on that one. But I do
Mhm.
want to I would love to go to the New York Custom Knife Show. And obviously being able to go
I,
out there and spend some time with family is kind of like a double thing. So I don't know.
right.
We'll see what happens with that one.
Hmm. Even if you just go to that, even if you just go to that one just to hang out, you know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
yeah, there are actually, you know, production knife companies that show up there, but it is more custom stuff, you know.
For sure. For sure.
But
But yeah, I'm if I had to guess, well, you know what? I can't even say for sure, but right now I've given all the adjustments, changes, asked for pricing, everything like that for the Gracchus. We
mhm.
are at the point now where the next couple of emails are going to pretty much iron everything out for us with them on that. And then it's with all the changes, what they have to do is they have to take it, apply it to the updated drawings, and then send it back to us for approval.
Mhm.
Once we get those and we approve everything, then at that point, it's going to be, um, it's going to be, pre-order, and then away we go. So my guess would be we're going to place the order probably right before Blade Show would be my guess, would probably be when we're going to be placing the actual order if we can get everything back in time. If Best Tech is delayed in returning the drawings to us, then that's obviously going to delay us on that part. And then once we place that and we send them money, you're looking at about 4 months. They say 90 to 120 days. I'm going to go on the latter half of it and say 120 days, and then that's until they're done. Then they've got to ship, and then we've got a QC. So you got to figure that we're probably looking at 4.5 months total
Right.
on this project here once we paid them monies.
Mhm.
So it's going to be a hot minute for that, but hopefully before long we'll have something there for sure. So John's from New Jersey to graduate high school in Manahawkin. Manahawkin is the last exit before you go through the tunnel into New York City, if I remember right. I did some
Okay.
business training up in Manahawkin. They used to have the UBS financial headquarters was based in Manahawkin, New Jersey, which is right up on the river there. So pretty cool area over there. And yeah, it's I know where Manahawkin is, and then lived in Tuckerton till we moved to Texas. So cool, man. Yeah, I was dead smack in the middle in Monmouth County when I lived there for a while. Then I moved up to Middlesex County for a little while when I was living in apartments and stuff like that, and then moved down to Ocean County, and I lived right near the beach. So that was where I lived in New Jersey. So that's now that you know where all about me, right?
There you go.
Right next to Long Beach Island. Yeah, I lived right near there, man. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I lived right near um, Tom's River and let's see, Lenoka Harbor. I was right in the middle in a town called Bayville. So exit 80 off of the Parkway. That would have been Bayville. 78? Gosh, it's been 7 years since. Oh my God, I'm brain dead. What can I say? And then Neil's there too. Yeah, Bound Brook, New
Yep.
Jersey. I know where that is. So for sure, man. Some New Jerseyites around for show.
I'm originally from New York City, but where I live in New Jersey now is I'm in the northwest corner. I am about 15 minutes from where New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania all come together.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in Sussex County, and it's all farms up here. So
yeah, my uncle lived in North Jersey. He lived for a while. He was in Butler, and then he was in a town called Green Pond.
Yep.
Which is off of 23 up there.
Yep, and yeah, and I actually live off of 23 currently. Green Pond is about 30 minutes from me.
Okay. Yeah, and then we had a family friend that lived trying to remember the name of the town, but there's a big Ford dealership on 23 that's like built into the side of a hill.
Yep.
And
he lived that's in Sussex. That's right by me.
Okay.
Right off of 23.
So that was you know, I've spent plenty of time up there for sure. I remember that. And then before my wife, the girl that I dated before her lived in Lake Hopatcong. So I definitely remember that. I lived in Milford, PA, stabbed in Port Jervis, New York.
That doesn't surprise me. Port Jervis has some shady areas.
I got stabbed in Atlanta at Blade Show last year.
Yeah, he did it himself.
Rolf got drunk there once.
Oh, that was pretty funny. Yeah, he needed the lady from Kunwu to help him out and bandage him like a doctor at the Blade Show last year because he sliced and diced himself up like multiple times.
She felt so bad for me, she gave me a free pry bar.
That is true, and a whistle.
There you go.
A whistle. Yeah, do you have a Kunwu whistle?
What'd you say, Chris?
Do either of you have a Kunwu whistle?
Do not.
No, I don't want a Kunwu whistle.
My finger off for another Kunwu whistle.
Nice. No, I cut myself on one of Fred's knives over the weekend, and I didn't even realize it. It was like halfway through the show. I'm like, why is this like really like stinging? And I realized and I remember when I did it, but I didn't think I actually caught myself because the knife was so sharp. So I was joking though. I was like, if you go by the Harry Potter theory that the wand chooses the user, I own that knife now, Fred.
There you go. It's mine. I have blood on it.
I think he's gone, Lance. I think he ducked out earlier, but yeah, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny for sure.
I always joke. I was like, that's how I know a knife is mine. If it gets me, it's mine. Definitely mine. It's got to stay forever.
Lance, I can't allow you to handle any of mine anytime soon, man. I'm just just in case something happens. I don't want to give it up. Just
there you go.
I'm a knife hoarder. I don't want to give those things up that easily. Yeah, man.
But you know how it is. You play with knives, you're gonna cut yourself eventually. It's inevitable.
Oh, dude, I cut myself weekly. My wife gets pissed at me for it. I laugh at her because I'm like, you do realize what I do now, right? Like, I own a knife company. Like, this is going to happen. And so
it's research.
Yeah, it's research. That's it. I don't think I'm going to be able to sell that one. You go right ahead and try that one, buddy.
You tell her you were testing the blade geometry and the sharpness. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Sure. Oh my gosh. I don't think that'll fly, man. But heck, like I said, I'll give it a shot. And then I'll say, Chris said if you don't believe him, that you should just give him a call. And Lance said the same thing, honey. in case she decides she wants to watch the replay on here.
There you go.
Oh, Maddie Mattis faction up in the house. What is up? Feel like I ain't seen you in a hot minute, homie. What is good? How are you doing, man? I apologize that I have not hopped in on your lives in the last few weeks. I have been mobbed with stuff, and I did not get a chance, man. But I assure you that I still like you guys, and I'll still come over and hang out with you guys. I apologize though. So good to see you. Thanks for coming in and hanging out, man.
One of the problems is, I hate to say it, there's so many lives and channels I like, but I can't get into everybody's live streams. I just don't have the time. You
Yeah.
know, I would
Yeah.
love to watch everybody's.
Yeah, for sure. I would like to also, and I know some people are able to like double up, right? They watch one on their TV and they got another one on their
Mm.
tablet or whatever. And I mean, kudos to them for giving the support. I don't do that, like, and probably because I'm just not coordinated enough to pay attention. So it's
I'll, I'll, I'll tell you what I
Maddie's
did.
doing the dishes. He says, "Hello, all. Just doing the dishes." Dude, you have glizzies for dinner? What'd you have for dinner, man? I know you know food, homie. We share what you got. I'm living vicariously through food. You know, since I don't eat like I used to anymore, I gotta find out what other people eat and then just be like, Rooster, what's up? Rooster. Sorry, I didn't mean to butcher that.
So I'll tell you what I did this week. That
Glizzies always.
instead of watching all the big channels that I watch, this week I've made it a point since Monday to start watching a lot of the smaller channels videos.
Damn.
You know, and liking and commenting, because one, I want them to know that I support them, but also two, listen, Metal Complex doesn't need my views. These smaller channels do, and they're
Yeah.
putting out great stuff too. So I've made it a point this whole week. I've been just concentrating on watching the smaller channels videos. Not that I'm a big channel, but you know, there are some people I've been watching who only have like 80, 90 subscribers, but I've been making sure to watch just to kind of show support.
I
Sure.
do the same thing. Yeah, I do the
Yeah.
same thing.
For sure. I tried to do that. Like when I get in here and Casey says, "Hey, make sure you're following so and so," or
Mm.
like we were doing before for like Bulldog, and I mean, I kind of try to make sure that we're covering those people also. They come in here, they give us their time, and I want to make sure that we're paying that back for sure.
Hmm.
It's appreciated, and I want to see everybody grow, right? All we can all rise together on
Yeah.
these ships. So, and that's just the way this community is. I think it's really cool about that. So it's good of
And
you
that's
to
the
do that, though, Lance.
Yeah,
Recognize that and start doing that for sure.
listen, people did that for me, so you know, it just keep passing it along. You know, like
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I embrace the knife community so much, I will say this, and I've said it a million times. I was in the paranormal community. The paranormal community has gotten insane, where everybody just hates each other, and it's just become bad blood because everybody thought they were going to get a TV show and we're going to be rich, and it ruined the whole thing. The music community has always been nightmarish on the internet. You know, there's a reason why I don't put any videos of my music out, because I don't want to deal with anybody with negativity. Because even if it was great and the greatest thing ever, there's going to be a million people just tearing it down because, hey, you held your finger in the wrong position and you should have held it, higher on this. And it's like, okay, shut up. I don't care. you know, this community has never been that way. And now, mind you, I've only been part of the community for a little over 2 years now, but from the day I got here, people have accepted me. People have been friendly. I've become friends with so many people that I talk to away from YouTube now, and it's like it's so much friendlier. People help each other.
Yeah.
We have people who have had crises. We all jump in, donate, help, do whatever we can, and it's a different type of community. And I say it all the time. This is the best community going.
I think so
I,
too. I,
I
I,
won't
I,
disagree with you.
I think that it's really cool that, I mean, Sam and I talked about this one time. In my 9 to 5, I've never called my competitor and asked them how they can help me to improve and be better.
Hmm.
Right. But I feel like I could call you and say, hey, what do you think about an idea on a video like this? How can I
Right.
how can I work
Absolutely.
that? Or what could I do about photography here or editing there? And
I
everybody's willing to help.
One of the first people who ever helped me without knowing who I was, I reached out to him on Facebook when I only had like 300 subscribers, was Jared Needs.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
talked to me
man.
and he gave me advice. He wished me luck, and believe it or not, Metal Complex did the same thing for me.
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
yeah, it's just
Yeah. No,
whether we
they've been really, really helpful.
Mhm. Big Red, G-Ball. I mean, the whole group, Casey, so
Yeah.
many of them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, look, I say this and I point this out not for any other reason except I mean, truly what, two couple weeks ago we had Jared on the channel.
Yeah.
Okay. A few weeks before that, Lefty was on the channel.
Hmm.
The second week that we were going, it was the day before Casey dropped the Tempest tornado. He was our guest on the live, and I asked him if he wanted to come on, and he said sure. And he gave us an hour and a half on the channel. Okay, and I mean look at us. I mean, we're not even a monetized channel, and these folks are
Hmm.
giving us that kind of time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, for sure, that speaks volumes to what they're like, and I think
Hmm.
it's awesome about it. So
And then we had some people like let's face it, like Kelly's Mismatch. I mean, when I started when I started in the community, Kelly sends me a big bag of stuff, and she's like,
yeah,
"Here, you knew, blah blah blah." And there have been so many people. Uh, Jimmy Crow donated a
Jimmy
knife to my
Crow,
channel for a giveaway. Like so many people have supported me that I just feel like I need to support everybody else too. It's nobody gets there by themselves.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
this community has been just fantastic.
yeah,
You know.
absolutely agree. And John, you're saying it great right here. It's all about not being a dick in the community, right? We can
Yep.
disagree and not hate each other, 100%. Right? I think there are people here that like one kind of knife, don't like another, like this type of blade steel and not that kind of blade steel, heck, may just not like a company in general. I can't tell you how many people I've heard who have just absolutely blasted Kunwu because they can't stand Sergio. But at the same time, I've heard other people who practically worship the guy. And so it's
Hmm.
completely okay and it's cool. We don't have to like the same things as long as we can respect each other for the fact that, that's what makes us individuals, and that's cool. I'm good with it. So you ain't going to hear me complain. That's for sure.
Hmm.
So, oh,
I will say one thing. For the longest time, like whenever somebody I knew in the community was coming out with a new knife, I would try to buy their knife, and I realized after a while I can't do that. I'm going to go broke. you know.
yeah, we did that too. That doesn't
You
work
know.
well.
No, I
I
mean
still try.
I do too, but
It's still hard.
Lefty drops a new knife every other week, so I'm not gonna, you know what I mean, type of thing.
Yeah.
I try to at least get one from everybody, who I'm friends with and whatnot, but because I want to show the support. Um,
Yeah.
What did you
but
drop?
it's hard.
6 or 7? Did you do 6 or 7 last year? Lefty?
Yeah.
Yeah, he dropped a lot last year. He's already come out the gate hot this year. I'm pretty sure he's going to
Hmm.
have more, especially since he just said to us privately the other day that he was moving up the timeline on the Nitro because something else isn't going to make the cut, or maybe it didn't come out the way he wanted it to, or something like that. Then he threw in something that was unexpected because he was talking about making those mega boys and the mega growlers because he couldn't. People were asking for like 11-inch knives, which is just batshit crazy to me. But who am I? I got a growler XL, and I think is more than enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's to me. That one's just about you know that's
Yeah,
about perfect for me
yeah,
for a
that's
big
a big
knife.
one. That's a
Yeah,
big one.
if I want a big knife, that's about perfect for me.
Yeah, and John, you're right. I'm not going to hate you if you buy a Microtech. Okay, I don't like Microtech. I'm not going to buy them, but they didn't do you dirty, right? So for
Hmm.
me, it's you shouldn't have to abide by how I feel about those things. So it's completely okay with that. I'm good with that. And
If
I
they,
don't ever, I'm not saying to any person, by the way, that Microtech is a bad company. Like, I don't think that their products are bad. I am avoiding them because of the person who runs the company, not because I believe that their products are inferior or anything like that as well. So I just want to make sure that I'm clear on that. What are you
And
showing us, Chris?
I'm just saying that I avoid them because they billboard ridiculously.
Oh, yeah.
Full
Old man
circle.
on the ridge.
And
What
it's
is
one of those
up,
things.
dude?
It's one of those things. Everybody has different personal experiences with companies, and so not everybody's going to have that same warm and fuzzy with everybody.
Agreed. Yeah.
I will tell you a real quick
Thank you,
story.
old man. I
I
appreciate you.
I
Really,
had I
really
had
do.
years ago when I worked at Home Depot, I had a manager who I could not stand, and he walked up to me one day and he knew it, and he goes, "You don't like me very much, do you?" And I looked at him and said, "Can't like everybody," and I walked away.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's how it works, right? I mean,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that there are a lot of companies out there to choose from, and I'm with you. I've tried to support the people that have been very helpful for us. And
Mm-hmm.
last year at Blade Show that got expensive because I think I bought like 2 or 3 knives that I had were not on my radar, just because the designers spent a lot of time talking to us, and I was just like, okay,
Yeah, I
I'll
mean,
buy one of these.
Yeah,
I
like the
mean,
Andres de Villiers.
Yeah, yeah,
He bought an ADV Tactical Freak prototype #1 from Andre de Villiers at Blade Show, and it wasn't even on his radar. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "He was so nice." I
he
was
was
like,
nice.
mhm.
He spent a
"You
lot of
can't
time with
have a
us.
heart like that, man. You'll be
it's like
poor."
and also too, like lately I've been finding myself when I am purchasing a large dollar amount knife, it's been more of custom stuff from makers I know than it has production. Like my Aries EDC,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
he custom made this for me. It's one of my favorite knives, you know. And I love the fact that when he opens the books, you get to pick all the materials and you work with him on it. To me, this is probably, for the money I paid for it, has more meaning to me than some of the other knives that I could have bought around the same price that would have been production knives from XYZ company.
yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
yeah, for sure.
Sever
So
Seven walks in.
Sever 7, late to the party, but fashionably late as always, brother. It's all good. Man, hope you are doing well, and thanks for coming in and hanging out. And if you haven't yet, folks, do me a favor, smash that like button. It definitely does help the channel. We appreciate that so very much. If you're not subscribed to Wyvern Kodiak or to Adventure 50's channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and help us grow. Paul, I know so you don't mind the billboarding, and that's cool. Again, it's not for everybody, and that's why everybody has choices, right? But your next comment says the logo has to be on the knife somewhere. Cool. Like, I don't disagree with you. I think a logo should be on the knife, right? But here's our knife, and when you look at our knife, our logo is right there on the pivot cap. Okay, that word right there on the blade, that says prototype. That was there on purpose because, we just want to make sure that it was identified. But other than that, the blade's empty. In the finger choil right there, come on, focus, Daniel-san, is Vanex. It's that we identify the steel in the finger choil. But other than that, this is clean, right? And that was our goal. I don't know, billboarding on the blades like that much. It's just not my thing. It's fine if it's for you and if you don't mind it. Like, that's cool. Like, it's like I said, it's one of those things that there's a million knives out there, and it could be good for you and not good for me, and that's totally cool. So but for me, I really like a very sterile looking blade. I know Chris is very similar to me in that sense. Is that we enjoy that clean look. It is just our preference, but um, you know that's all. It's
Yeah,
cool.
I and same thing. I'm holding an 80/20 right now. and having the Demco on the pivot is great. And he's got it, and again, and he's got it written right here in his, and I don't mind that at all. You know, but
Yeah.
But yeah, across the blade for whatever reason, I don't know why I dislike it.
So I'm looking at a couple of things here, and just so that I can give a couple of examples here that are in front of me. So come on, there we go. So this is the new porcupine, right? Right there, right next to my finger on the right before the choil, like on the ricasso over there. Okay, that is, what does that say? That says Vosteed. Okay, and then right there is the steel identification. I know it's just not coming in clear, but it does say S90V on there. Okay, but this is the Arno Bernard. Right there on the scale is a little milled AB. Nothing else. Blade is clean. I had shown it before, but this is the Monterey Bay Knives Honey Badger. Okay, nothing. If you look on the spine of the knife, is it backwards? Yeah, no, it isn't. Right there, I'm trying to get it in focus. Right there on the spine of the knife, it says R. Laconico for Ray Laconico because he's the designer. Okay, but nothing else. There's nothing crazy about it. Kunwu. This is the Excalibur. Nothing. It is clean, clean, clean. Right? They have these identifying pivots, but these aren't really even a maker's mark on that. But you know, that's, again, it's just a preference thing. It makes the knife clean. I love that look.
Yeah. Is it YZ said that he wants to support Greg Schaub as well. So he spent a lot of time talking to him. Comment at
Greg
11:54.
Schaub's a good dude.
Yeah.
Greg Schaub's a good dude. As a matter of fact, I finally got my hands on a dang Strix. Okay, and I was able to buy a Strix, and it should be delivered in the next couple of days. I've got the plain Jane micro milled version coming in S90V from their third drop, and I was able to get it off of Blade Binge at a reasonable price. I think they were like what, $390 new when they dropped, and I think I paid like $420 or something for it. I don't mind paying the $30 premium, especially since he is not making any more production runs. I find that to be a reasonable ask there. The person wasn't trying to double their money like some of these obnoxious fools that buy these knives and then immediately flip them. So I'm good with that number, but I am pretty excited about getting that one. But yes, Greg Schaub is an absolutely fantastic human being. He spent an awful lot of time with me in Texas, and he is him and his wife Lee are fantastic people. Absolutely love those people. So awesome. Yeah, and I'd love to have a custom Strix too, Paul. I just don't think I'm going to drop like $2,000 on one anytime soon. I've got too many other knives in the hopper that need my money right now before I can get there. But I'm going to get one at some point in my life. I hope.
I'm gonna let you fellas continue to run. I'm gonna jump.
No, I gotta go too.
All right. Well, folks, I'm losing my wheels, so therefore we're gonna wrap this for the night. I do appreciate everybody coming out, hanging out, and I'd like to thank Lance Adventure 50 for spending a few hours with us. Lance, it was awesome hanging out with you, brother. You are welcome back anytime.
I appreciate this so much. It was so much fun. It was great meeting Chris, Sam. Love hanging out with you. This was awesome.
Absolutely, great meeting, sir. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm looking forward to you dropping another knife. I was anxiously awaiting your drop.
Well, they're gonna be dropping again, so I'll let you guys know.
Perfect.
Sounds good. All right, guys, have a great night. Thanks again for everybody coming in.